Looking forward to serving Wildcat fans. Stay safe, bear down, and live Moss.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
And a great Wednesday afternoon to you. Hump Day. Halfway through this week, the first week outside of the basketball season, but feels like we are still in the basketball season because there is always all kinds of news because, of course, the transfer portal is open. People are jumping in. People are finding new schools. One Arizona Wildcat has found a new school, and it is in the same conference as the school she is leaving, U of A. Jada Williams today announcing that she is going to be an Iowa State Cyclone. How about that one right there? Jada is headed to Ames, Iowa. Probably not a bad decision after the star player for the Iowa State women's basketball team made it crystal clear earlier this week that she was coming back and not leaving Ames, Iowa. So Jada Williams, for lack of a better term, has traded her bigs. She's gone from one Brea Cunningham to one now Audi Crooks over at Iowa State. So a nice pickup for the Cyclones. And, you know, that, again, transfer portal, we've talked about it. We're going to be talking about it because it is a reality of everyday college athletics now. I've said from the get-go, I thought, okay, look, if you're going to have this happening every year, if you're going to allow kids the opportunity to transfer every single year, which, of course, we mentioned yesterday, that's probably the first thing that needs to change, is allowing kids the ability to leave a school every single year. We mentioned one Kerkrisa is going to be on his fourth team next year in 4 years. But my other thing from the very start on this was I've always been against, and I think the next thing that needs to be instituted is you cannot transfer within conference. You have to, if you're going to be allowed, there has to be some type of penalty here. It can't just be all in favor of the players and the kids. I'm sorry, it can't. There has to be some limitation, some penalty. And to me, one of the easiest penalties that you can institute was not allowing kids to transfer within the same conference. So you don't, and back when it was the Pac-12, so you didn't have kids going from Arizona to UCLA, or you didn't have kids going from Arizona to Stanford. If you're going to transfer, fine. If we're going to allow this ad nauseum transferring every year, at least make these kids go away to another conference so you don't have to see them twice every year. That would be my second step. First step is that you got to institute some type of situation where we don't have kids being able to transfer every year. Second would be you got to transfer to another conference. You cannot play in the same conference in which you're coming from. I want to hear your thoughts on that. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. What would you institute? What would be the number one thing you would institute about the transfer portal? Moving forward, what big change would you make? What one penalty? Because there's got to be penalties. We can't just make this open season, what do they call it? Wild, Wild West. It can't be. There's got to be penalties. What would your penalty be? My penalty, again, would be you have to transfer out of conference. So if you play in the Big 12, go play in the SEC. Go play in the ACC. Go play in the American. Go play in the Mountain West. But you cannot transfer within the same conference. That would probably be my number one penalty. J.W. Madden joins us as well today. Dragon Ball again has the day off. J.W. Madden, what would your number one penalty be?
That's tough because the word penalty to me is a hard one to do. I think not transferring within conference is a good idea. More than anything, the first thing you said, which is not transferring every single season, is the big issue I have with this. There are obviously very unique situations, but the idea of a player playing 4 different years at 4 different universities, there's just no continuity with that. So I would love to see, it's impossible, but I would like to see 2-year contracts, something to that effect. And we're going to see how it all winds up. We still don't know how collective bargaining agreement is going to work for college athletics, but there has to be a way to curtail the sheer increase of number of participants in the transfer portal year after year after year after year. It's more or less increased by 20% every single year since they implemented it. So you're going to start to see years where I think Arizona right now has 5 scholarship players for the men's basketball team, and that includes Carter Bryant, which potentially might not be coming back to school. So when you go from a chock full roster and then you get to this time of year where there's so many unknowns, it's tough, I think, for like Chris yesterday who called in, and her question was, how do you navigate the emotions of all of this, of getting attached to players and then having them jump ship so fast? Yeah, I mean, I don't have answers, DK. I just think that some more continuity from among the programs and among the universities benefits everybody. The student athletes with the ability to transfer and be eligible instantly. That's the big change from pre-COVID, was not having to sit out that penalty year. Now that that's gone, the athletes now have all the power, more or less. So I will restate what I said yesterday, and every time we bring this up, I am on the athlete's side. I am on the student athlete's side. I believe they should be able to make their own decisions for their lives, and some kind of buy rules as far as keeping players on campus for 2 years instead of 4 years. 4 schools in 4 years just seems like very extreme. Maybe after your freshman year, DK, like freshman year is 1 year, you can get your, dip your toes in, see if that's a school for you. And maybe if it's not, you can transfer. But after you transfer, maybe after sophomore, junior, you would require people to be there for a couple of years. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how it's going to work. It's just a mess.
Let's take, again, that's why we have these talk shows, because we want to take input. We want your input on what you would like to see. It's a college community, something we're going to be dealing with probably for the rest of our existence in this community. And until something, grandiose happens where you have some legislation or regulations or whatever you want to call it. But what would you do? I always like to say, I always like to say when Dave Hickey was here, if I was Dave Hickey, I guess I have to change that now to if I was Desiree Reed Francois, what I would do.
You'd have a much better taste and style, I'll tell you that much.
What would you do? What would you do if you were in charge of the transfer portal? What changes would you make to it? 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Our guy, D-Dub, checks in, says, shouldn't there be a time limit before they get to play? 60 days, no playing within the sports season. 30 days off season, including no practice. Something, anything. Good God, this is insane. Whatever numbers the powers to be decide, but should be an in-season penalty, a disincentive for not flooding the transfer portal. That's what DW says. Again, and I'm on that. There's got to be a penalty. And again, we can be for the players. We can be for the players having the ability to leave. Because even in high school, you can't just pick up and go to, kids can't just pick up and go to a school in Phoenix. They make you sit out half the season. Here in Arizona, if you transfer from a school to another school, like all these kids that have left, like remember the Berryhill brothers that were playing at Sabino? They left and went to, I believe it was Peoria Centennial last year. They had to sit out half the season before they could play. There's got to be a penalty. What should those penalties be? 520-848-1290. Let's hear from Jacob. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, man, I don't think there should be any penalty.
Oh.
This is their livelihood. How if you hate your job and you leave it, should you have to wait 90 days or a whole year to get employed again? Granted, this is their education also, but it's still income. It's still how they're paying bills for their family.
That's a point. But even professional leagues don't allow you to just up and leave every single year. There's contracts involved with that.
Yeah, there's no contracts for college, though.
Well,
if they don't want people to leave every year, it has to be under in paper.
There you go. There needs to be contracts.
Yep. That's the only way to solve it, because I know I couldn't go a year without paying my bills on saved money. That's life.
Well, nobody's saying. Well, I mean, I think nobody's saying that you can't go and not still make your NIL or get paid whatever that money is that they're going to give you. I'm not saying you can't not pay your bills. I'm just saying there has to be a penalty. Like you shouldn't, like we can still agree to, we're going to pay you this, and you're going to get this NIL. But unfortunately, you're going to have to sit for half the season or a third of the season because that's the rules of transferring. You can still get your money. You're just not going to be able to play.
Yeah, they can't market themselves, though, if they're not playing.
Like that. They can trust me. And come on. Come on, Jacob. Come on, Jacob. This is we are in the age of NIL. Those players can find a way to market themselves. Trust me.
But if they're on the floor, the amount they can make is astronomically greater.
Think about it this way: if I'm a car dealer in Ames, Iowa, and Jada Williams is coming in, she may not be able to play for half a season, but I could have her on my commercials for that half a season. If I'm paying her NIL,
is she going to bring in the dealership money? Can she bring in the same amount of money as if she was on the floor on prime time?
Well, probably not at that point, but she's still making her money because I'm giving it to her.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want to pay her if she's not going to bring me in money.
Well, yeah.
If she's not on the floor with her face out there. See, it's the economics of it are just so wild.
It just depends on the pre-fame, right? You're talking about Haley Van Lith transferring 4 times. By the time she got to her senior year, DK, everybody in the nation knew who that was.
Yeah.
So if she's sitting out for 6 months, then she can sell as many cars as needed. But there's really no correct answer. I will tell you this. As of this morning, there are 1,729 players in the portal. There are about 4,200 Division I men's basketball scholarship athletes.
This is men?
Men. So that's about 41%, just for the record. So, again, like I said earlier, Jacob, I think I'm always going to be on the side of athletes, student athletes, and their choices to be able to support themselves, support their families. And this is Wild West. There's really no regulation and rules. We don't know collective bargaining is going to come up. They're still trying to figure out the lawsuits that have just been concluded. Like, what about the one at Northwestern, right? About forming a union and all of these other things. They're still trying to pick up the pieces and figure things out. But as far as, a student athlete making a choice, it's hard to penalize the student athlete. I just think there has to be more continuity because here's the real question. Does the player make the money, or does the player wearing the jersey of the uniform of the school they're at? And what I mean by that is you might be a McDonald's All-American coming out of high school, but the second you put on a Duke uniform or a Kentucky uniform, right, that's a much bigger brand than you as an individual. So there's a continuity there between the brand that you're representing and your own personal skill set and what you bring to the table. So how do you separate those two things? It's so difficult.
It's wild, but and then we're going to come down to the point where is it the school that's directly going to contract the player and pay them directly? That seems like the only way to solve it.
Well, I mean, the schools are. We're about to enter into revenue sharing, so the schools are going to be paying them directly. Jacob, thank you for your call.
Yep.
Let's hear
Thank
from Alfonso. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, hello, my friends. Hope you're doing well. So I think there's something we have to realize that, it's going to be evolving, but when you have continuous players going into the portal over and over again, there's going to be a lack of sympathy, loyalty from the fans. And over time, fans, ticket payers are just saying, you know what? I don't have a connection to these people anymore. I'm just going to do something different. So honestly, it's just loyalty and being able to form that relationship with the players. So, hey, there's consequence. They can go out every year after year, going into the portal, but fans are going to lose interest. And that's what I wanted to say.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Alfonso. You're absolutely right.
That's what Chris said. That's what Chris's point from yesterday.
There's no, I mean, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care about the players. I don't have time to care about the players because they might not be there from this year to next year.
Well, the fun thing is that, like, fan favorites, like the term fan favorites, is not the guy scoring 25 a game. It's the guy who only gets in every third game, DK, and then when he's in there, launches up a couple threes and makes them, and the crowd goes crazy, right? That fan favorite thing comes from generally players who are not highly involved in the rotation. So you get a player like that, maybe they're on campus at the U of A for 1 or 2 seasons in spot minutes. They're not seeing enough playing time. They want to go somewhere else. That connection I think a lot of the fan bases have with those players is generated from the time they get on campus towards when they actually have improved enough. There are very few, AJs in the world and LeBrons in the world, DK. Most players have to come along at their own pace, and that's a big part of the fan process is watching those guys come in as raw freshmen and develop into contributors as sophomores and juniors. And right now the landscape does not afford that because it does. Players have the option to stay. But again, I think to the original caller's point, the idea of having the option to go and shop around and see what you're worth, DK, is important, I think, for young people to be able to understand that. And if it's a situation where you're looking for playing time, it's one thing. But if you're trying to shop around and figure out, how much money you can get right now, because there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to play professionally. I mean, there's a lot of people on this planet, DK, trying to play professional basketball these days, far more than ever before. It's a very the industry is chock full of players trying to make that next step.
All right, 520-848-1290. When we come back, we'll remind you the reality of Arizona's situation. DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Collisions reported at Mission and Ajo and slowing at the intersection of Ajo and Mission. We got Pima and Craycroft and Pima, Speedway and Silverbell. Wreck reported at the westbound I-10 Ina on-ramp, slowing on westbound Speedway at I-10 and also westbound Grant Road at I-10. And that's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Discover luxury at BMW of Tucson, your premier BMW dealership. Explore our extensive inventory, lease specials, and state-of-the-art service. Visit us at the Tucson Auto Mall or at bmwoftucson.com today.
I'm Michael Jenkins here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. The Phillies host the Rockies tonight at the bank. Taking the home team on the run line is the play we're targeting. Rockies starter Kyle Freeland is coming off an impressive opening day performance, but last year on the road, he was an easy fade with an ERA near 6. With one of baseball's best in Zach Wheeler taking the bump for the Phillies, Philly on the run line is the play at -140. I'm Michael Jenkins from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books and download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other. Sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last...
No.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska vacation.
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
My best friend died suddenly, and now his wife and kids have to move out of their house. I had no idea he didn't have life insurance. If I could go back, I'd tell him how easy and affordable protecting your family can be with SelectQuote. In 15 minutes, a licensed insurance agent found me a $500,000 life insurance policy for only $18 a month. They compare many of the nation's most highly rated insurance carriers to find the right coverage and price for your needs. In the last 40 years, they've helped more than 2 million families secure over $700 billion in coverage. Even if you have a health concern, SelectQuote agents can find you the right policy at the lowest price. Don't wait until it's too late. Get peace of mind that your loved ones are protected with life insurance.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-480-5454 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-480-5454. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-480-5454. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Burgers sound great. Let's find a spot nearby. Wow, nothing? Oh well. Everybody okay with pizza instead?
Can she seriously not see us?
No, she can't. Time to get a boost. Get found and get on the map. Learn more at CumulusBoost.com.
The Pima County Fair and Wildcats Radio 1290 present Wristband Day, Easter Sunday, April 20th. For just $30, you can enjoy unlimited rides until 6 p.m. You can also get admission into the fair for free until noon with 3 cans of food. Plus, enjoy concerts, a lowrider car show, Easter Bunny photo op, goodie bags for the first 500 kids under 10, Baby Shark roaming the grounds, and much more. Get all the details about the Easter Sunday at the Pima County Fair at wildcatsradio1290.com.
NBA veteran Jim Jackson takes you on the court.
You get a chance to dig into my 14-year career in the NBA, and also get the input from the people that will be joining. Charles Barkley.
I'm excited to be on your podcast, man. It's an honor.
Spike Lee, entrepreneur, filmmaker, Academy Award winner.
Knicks fans.
Now you see, I got you. But also how sports brings life, passion, music, all of this together.
The Jim Jackson Show, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Drives into the lane, ball swatted away, grabbed by Martinez. Wildcats on the run, feet ahead down the other end to Townsend, laid up and good.
Run the floor. Martinez has that head up. He wants to distribute the ball, keep Arizona's tempo going.
Knocked away and stolen by Martinez. Cats with a 3-on-1, shoveled off. Del Orso lay it in for 2.
Headsy play from Conrad Martinez.
I feel like being a point guard is a most important position in the court, so
I just want to make sure that everybody gets the ball, make easy plays, and don't turn the ball over.
You know, Conrad's a guy I would love to try to find a way to give him an opportunity every game. I can't promise that's going to happen, but I think when you see when he gets out there, I mean, he brings something to the floor for sure.
Conrad Martinez, is he going to be the next guy into the transfer portal? Nothing official yet from our folks over at On 3. They still have Henry Vasar, Emmanuel Stephan, and KJ Lewis listed as the 3 that are in the transfer portal. And here's the thing with Henry Vasar. You've got, well, let's just go back to last year. Last year, and granted, you know, this was kind of spun as, you know, Umar Ballo had been here 3 years. It was time to hand the mantle off to somebody else, which, again, that was not untrue. But certainly if you could have given $1 million to Umar Ballo, I think you probably would have done that to keep a player of that magnitude. Arizona doesn't have that money. Arizona does not have the money to pay at that level. They couldn't pay Umar Ballo $1 million. You think they can pay Henry Vasar $2 million, which is the going rate right now for the best big men on the transfer market? Arizona doesn't have that money. And you've heard me say before that the Wildcats are going to be a developmental school in football. There may be instances where they're a developmental school in basketball too. Now, a high-level developmental school because they've got kids who can play. They've got a great coaching staff here who can get them to the Sweet 16 every year, put them in the mix to win a national championship. But there are still going to be blue blood schools, big market schools. We talked about it yesterday, St. John's. All of a sudden, St. John's was irrelevant for the last 20 years. And now all of a sudden, they found the money to hire Rick Pitino, and they're finding the money in this new era to get high-level college basketball players. That's not happening here in Tucson unless there's some billionaire about to walk through the door. So you're going to lose. And we heard Scott Drew walk into a press conference here at McHale Center this year and say, that dude is a pro. And who was it later in the season? Was it Kelvin or somebody else said, that guy is an NBA player? When you've got other coaches saying that about a kid, you better believe he's going to be on the market because there are schools out there. What is happening here is no different. We talked about the other day. J-Dub brought it up the other day. 90s Major League Baseball. That's what this is becoming. There's going to be markets that can outpay other markets. And is Tucson going to be Cleveland? Tucson is more likely to be Cleveland than it is to be the Yankees.
The funny thing about that late 90s era, DK, is if I remember correctly, the Boston Red Sox followed the Yankees' footsteps, and they also had the second highest payroll, but that didn't lead to championships, right away, not in that era. And so the idea of like what Indiana did over this last NAL transfer period in 2024, they spent the most money, brought in the most players, and they didn't make the NCAA tournament. So there's a very tight window here for all these big spenders pulling in as many, juniors and seniors, especially into one program. If that does not lead to success, like I don't think St. John's is on the map at all. Rick Pitino is on the map and always has been, and so it's always based upon who that figurehead is. I will say this: Arizona's always been a program going back to Lutz days, where it's a balance between getting really highly regarded players out of high school, very similar to the Koa Pete signing that just happened this last week, where this is a top 10 national high school recruit that pretty much every school in the country wanted to get. Now, how long does you expect that player to be around on campus? Not very long, not in this landscape of basketball. And you can't get 7 Koa Petes into your rotation. Calipari tried that in Kentucky. They won 1 title. But you know what his pitch was?
I can get you to the NBA.
You won't be here for longer than 9 months.
Right.
Like, his entire pitch to high school guys was, come and hang out, live in a dorm that we just built for $50 million. You can have any amenity you could possibly imagine. This is long before NIL. And come live like a pro right now today, and you won't be at Kentucky next year. That was the pitch. But that only works if you can literally get 2 or 3, 4 McDonald's All-Americans every single year. So there has to be a balance between those guys and then developing within your own program. Or, hey, DK, we're in a landscape where you're going to see people developed in other programs that come and become Arizona Wildcats, right? I mean, there's been some even more recently. Like the senior transfers that Arizona's gotten into their program in the last 3 or 4 years were all guys who spent 3-4 years at their school, and they were super raw as freshmen and a finished product as seniors. And Arizona got to benefit from that a few times. But you can't recruit nothing but one and done type players because it just doesn't work. It's not a formula that works.
Speaking of Koa Pete, he did not play in last night's McDonald's All-American game because of the injured hand that obviously he was dealing with during the state tournament run for Gilbert Perry. He played through it in that process to help the Pumas win a 4th straight title, but was not cleared to play in the McDonald's All-American game, and the right decision there for sure. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Yeah, look. I don't know. and again, I worked in over at IMG when I first got to town. And it was very clear to me, I worked there for 2 years. It was very clear to me I came from Memphis, where I worked in professional baseball. And it was very clear to me very quickly that there were not the same type of corporate dollars here in Tucson that there were even in Memphis. I mean, Memphis has got major corporations. They've got FedEx. FedEx puts their name on everything. The Grizzlies play at FedEx Forum. The Tigers play at FedEx Forum. They've got AutoZone. AutoZone puts their name on everything. The baseball team I worked for plays at AutoZone Park. And I've said this ad nauseum before. You just don't have that here. You don't have that here in Tucson.
That's because a large bulk of the city is an Air Force base. The rest is building missiles. And then up in the foothills, it's all gated communities where you can't build any
Can we get
industry.
Kyle Quinn to throw us some of that Raytheon money?
I don't know if that's... I mean, there's really no connection, right? I mean, Howard Hughes was the original builder of that. And do you know the story behind that?
No, I don't know.
They had to be 50 miles away from the coast. So they decided that they had any kind of missile manufacturing factory probably shouldn't be right next to one of the coasts. And so that's where Hughes Missiles originally was built here, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, there are no giant industries that come out of Tucson, much more retirement and college town. There are a lot of very famous, wealthy alumni, and, there's only so many dollars that a famous NBA alumni can give to build a gym, right? I mean, if that's... constantly facilitating the NIL funds. There's so many great businesses in Tucson that have always been huge supporters of the Arizona Athletic Department. We'll put it that way.
Well, some of those great businesses are going to have to start reaching deeper into their pockets, and they're going to have to really start finding other resources for money because, again, Arizona is not in the stratosphere to be able to play with some of these programs that are going to be able to pay $2 million to.
Would you rather be a
like
St. John's fan or an Arizona Wildcat fan?
Would I rather?
Yeah. Would you rather be a school that has little to no history whatsoever in basketball,
right?
Who all of a sudden has billions of dollars coming in and their entire team is bought and paid for?
That's maybe unfair. Lou Carnesecca, I mean, St. John's was now granted in the
modern
80s.
History.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what do we say in modern?
Watched Lou Carnesecca.
Not the 2000s, like I said. They've been irrelevant in this century,
right?
But they have a history.
Yes, what I'm saying is, if you're a program outside the top 50 traditionally in college basketball, so many programs have made their name and their their traditions based on individuals like Steve Kerr, like Sean Elliott at all, right? Over long periods of time. But now we're at a time when Miami's a great example. If we want to really go there, how much football success for the Hurricanes happened from under-the-table deals from boosters? I mean, that was always a thing going on, right? And now it's out in the open. So I'm just saying I'd rather root for a team that is homegrown and has players who are doing it for the right reasons rather than simply the only reason being the most possible money I can squeeze out of it.
All right, we got games that are about to start. Let's get to our BetMGM Network play of the day because we had day games, we got early games, and we got to get to one or two here. There you go, Fred. Let's have our BetMGM Network top play is brought to you locally by Oro Ford.
Take Boston to beat Baltimore. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. While all the Red Sox noise is about Rafael Devers eating donuts, Boston is in a good spot today. The Bo Sox lineup hitting over 300 against Zach Eflin. Ace Garrett Crochet takes the mound, and Boston is only minus 120 on the money line. I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
All right, that game is now at the Desert Diamond Casino at minus 121. The first pitch is actually right now, so get that bet in. 3:35, Red Sox and Orioles. Garrett Crochet against Zach Eflin. If you take it at minus 121 on the money line, your $12.90 bet can get you $10.71. You may have also heard in the last break, another bet we've got for today, Phillies minus 1.5 on the run line over the Rockies at minus 134. I don't have the dollar amount on that at the moment, but that's going to be obviously less, probably around maybe $10 to win back on that. Last year, you've got Kyle Freeland on the bump tonight for the Rockies. He was not very good on the road last year. This game is in Philadelphia. That game, first pitch coming up in 10 minutes. Freeland last year on the road had a 6+ ERA. Scott Wheeler gets the ball for the Fightins today. Yesterday, we'll update you on what we had yesterday. Our bets that we won and lost. We had, and we'll get into this in our next segment, we had the Diamondbacks and Yankees, the over 8. That game obviously finished with the Diamondbacks winning at 7-5, so it finished at 12. So we picked up $11.09 on that game, but we lost the NIT game by 2 points as UC Irvine is in the final. They beat North Texas 69-67. We had North Texas on the money line there, so we lost our $12.90.
What's the North Texas mascot, I wonder?
Ooh, I should be able to tell you this. North Texas, gosh. I know their colors are green and white, but I don't remember
I'll give you a hint. Their mascot's name is Scrappy.
Scrappy, the Cowboys? Scrappy the Cowboy?
Scrappy the Eagle.
Oh, the
apparently.
Eagle.
Yeah.
Okay, that has no Texas connotation there. All right, so we're 6-9-1 on our bets in this new season of 162 bets, and because we had one push. So we've had I don't think we had a push in either our first two seasons. We are $38.58 right now in the hole. So your top plays for today, get them in now because one game has started. Red Sox on the money line over the Orioles. Phillies minus 1.5 on the run line over the Rockies. Those are your bet MGM top plays brought to you locally by Oral Ford at 3950 West Highway 77 in Oracle. All right, cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Diamondbacks, Yankees straight ahead. We'll have your download coming up next.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Collisions that are reported at Mission and Ajo.
Pima and Craycroft, Speedway in Silver Bell, also at the westbound I-10 Ina on-ramp. Slowdowns, Ajo and Mission westbound and southbound, also backups on westbound Grant at I-10, westbound Speedway Boulevard at I-10. 43 the overnight low, 64, mostly cloudy tomorrow, breezy and 67 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you could save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
The Dodgers' exorbitant spending is good for baseball. What? Are they not supposed to try? Are they not supposed to create a world-class organization? Are they not supposed to attempt to procure the best talent possible in a talent procurement business? Are they not supposed to reinvest the money they have earned legitimately in their product? In other words, what are we even talking about here?
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Come on in to Total Wine & More. Prices much lower than a grocery store. Spirits, wine, beer for a whole lot less. Walking down the aisles makes you stop and say, yes! From mixing cocktails to a friendly get-together, Total Wine has everything you need and more. With the lowest prices and best selection for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Midcourt, shot is up. Good! Love has hit a 3, and we're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, honey, we should probably take flowers to the Johnsons. Let's see who's open. Nothing nearby.
We're right here. Can he seriously not see us?
No, he can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local florists. Get a boost. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
I'm Bill Ryder of the Sports Minute. Nikola Jokic is too good to properly describe.
61 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, the highest scoring triple-double in the history of the sport, and what should have been a game-winning performance for the ages if it weren't for Russell Westbrook. Yes, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is amazing. Yes, he may win the MVP, but don't lose sight of Jokic, his own MVP case, and the fact he's still one of the greatest players we've ever seen. Until then.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Here's the 2-2. Suarez hits a high fly ball deep to left field. Gino Suarez gone for a grand slam.
Hey, there's your player of the week. Diamondback download.
Baseball talk. All right, we're coming up on first pitch at Yankee Stadium, game number 6 of the season. I mean, Gino is just insane right now. He's only hitting .278. He's 5 for 18. All 5 hits have left the ballpark. 5 hits, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. It was a 7-5 win over the Yankees last night. It got going early with Corbin Carroll.
Here's the 1-0. Swung on. That's blasted out to right field. Judge turns, looks, and that ball's gone. Carroll's first of the year, a no-doubter in Yankee Stadium, and the D-backs jump in front 2-0.
Corbin Carroll, 2-run home run. It would be a Diamondback lead early, but the Yankees would come back to take that lead. It was 4-2 going to the 8th inning. Now, remember the 8th inning on Sunday, the Diamondbacks scored 8 runs. Well, Gino would come up with the bases loaded, a 2-strike count with 2 outs.
2-2 pitch. Swung on, high fly ball, deep left field. Bellinger back, track, wall. It is gone! Grand slam, Suarez! And a dagger to the Yankees late as the Diamondbacks now take a 7-4 lead.
The guy only hits home runs. That's all he does.
Well, that's true. He's got 5 hits and 5 home runs. 13 runs in the 8th inning to come back and win the last 2 games. A.J. Puck did give up a home run in the 9th inning. He's one of the closers I have on my fantasy team, but he would finish the job.
Here's the pitch. Reyes swings, sends it out to center, racing in McCarthy, and on 2 feet, he'll make the catch. The ball game is over, and the Diamondbacks take the opener from the Yankees by a final score of 7-5.
And ahead of him, another guy I have on my fantasy team. I told you this year I drafted just guys like basically on the Diamondbacks in Cleveland.
What you specifically said was you were drafting only players on teams that you were going to be following anyway.
Right. Yeah. So I have Justin Martinez. He was throwing gas, struck out all 3 batters that he faced in the 8th inning to set things up for A.J. Puck. So I got Martinez and Puck, and I got tonight's starter, Zach Gallen, on my fantasy team as well. But let's hear from Gino on another big late win for the Diamondbacks.
I mean, that was awesome. Great game. We never give up. We play our game. I think that's us. We've been we've been 5 games. You know, we have a good at bats. Today is a big example. You know, bases loaded to out. I had the opportunity to come in and help my team win the game. That's more important to me. But you know, see the dugout, the happiness, the comfort that we have is very nice. You know.
Remember, we said we weren't sure if they were gonna, how they were gonna be able to replace a lot of that offense you got from Christian Walker. I mean, you can get. I mean, granted, Naylor over at first base is going to give you some decent power for sure. I mean, he's a 20-plus, 25-plus home run guy. But, man, if you could – and Heno Suarez kind of started coming on at the end of last year, and he's really carried that over.
He had that, 3-week stretch, right?
Oh, man, it was unbelievable last year. Yeah, he had, it was – we'd have to go back and look at what the numbers were. But, yeah, he had that it was dominant at the plate. I think that came in September or late August.
Yeah.
When he had that all going on last year. Torey Lovullo, what a comeback.
Another cold day at the office, right? So it's the first time we've been in this type of weather. And I was just proud of the way we fought. We just kept, hanging in there. We made some mistakes that put us in the situation that we were in. But today the word that sticks out is resilience. And our guys just hung in there. We got the big hit clearly by Gino that made the difference in the game.
You ever seen a start like this, like you're seeing from Gino Suarez?
Yeah, I've been in this game a long time, so I've seen some guys get hot right off the bat. But this was a big moment for him with 2 outs at the grand slam. It was spectacular, and I think maybe he was setting up the pitcher, sat on a pitch, and didn't miss it. But nothing that comes to mind recently. But I'm sure over the course of my time, I've seen somebody get this hot this quickly.
Try back to Corbin. What was your sense early on?
I thought he was real good early. I thought he and Gabby were in a good mix. The cutter was very, very lively and made a couple mistakes. In my opinion, the error is what really took the wind out of him, and the pitch count jumped up in a big way after that inning, and that was really the difference between him going 5 or 6 innings.
Torey Lovullo, after the ball game, we were talking about that stretch that Gino got on last year, 62 games after July 1st, 22 home runs, and 60 RBIs. That was the stretch in the second half of last season. The reigning National League Player of the Week, trying to maybe get going as well for this coming week as well. Now, there was some issues early on with the defense, and we mentioned Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor, great offensive player. You're going to have him play a lot of first base, but he's not necessarily the best defensive first baseman.
The 0-2 pitch to Cabrera. Swung on, weak grounder to first. Naylor has it, and a high toss to Burns. He flips it over his head. 2 runs are going to score, and the Yankees lead it 4-2. Brutal toss by Naylor.
I mean, that was he just absolutely airmailed that underhand toss over Corbin Burns' head. Pitcher fielding practice, they work on it, and it's not just for pitchers. You hear that phrase, it's not just for pitchers. It's for, the infielders. Ball grounded to first baseman, having to make that toss to the pitcher, covering over at first base, and not how you practice it on the backfields at Salt River Fields. For sure, you don't want to make that mistake on the big stage at Yankee Stadium last night. And Torey Lovullo said it took a moment for the Snakes to get over that miscue.
Probably a couple innings. I think we kind of staggered. I felt the importance of that out was mighty. It was going to save Corbin several pitches and get us back in the dugout tied, and we all understood that. So you don't just get over those things quickly. We ask our players to. But I was proud of the way they call their own mound visit. I give them that right. I actually like when they circle up to pick one another up after there's a miscue like that. So credit to everybody to keep it at 4-2, and we just kept fighting.
All right, 7-5 the final last night. First loss for the Yankees. They're 3-1. D-backs are now 3-2, having won 2 in a row. First pitch coming up, 4:05 at Yankee Stadium. Game 2 of the series. Zach Gallen was uneven. First time out, 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 walks. Gave up a home run last week against the Cubs, losing the opener 10-6. He'll be out on the bump. Another guy on my fantasy team, as I mentioned, Carlos Rodon for the Yankees, 1-0, 1.69. He was a little bit more solid, 7 strikeouts and 5 1/3 in his debut last week. Again, the game starts at 4:05. The lines on this one right now, Arizona is the underdog on the money line. So if you take the Diamondbacks plus 125, you got a chance to win positive money there. Your over-under tonight is 7.5. 7.5. If you take the under or the over on that, it's 7.5 at minus 120. And then the run line is in favor of the Diamondbacks, plus 1.5 tonight at minus 165.
Real quick, some stats back to Eugenio Suarez, right?
Yeah.
In last year's hot streak, he finished with 30 home runs. But the reason that hot streak late stood out so much, do you know when he hit his fifth? He just hit his fifth.
Right.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And it's April 2nd. It was June 6th,
Before
PK. June 6th when Eugenio Suarez hit his sixth last year.
Wow.
Fifth, excuse me.
Yeah.
Fifth home run came on the 6th of June last year.
That's crazy. He is just, again, he's carried it over, and that's really good to see for this offense moving forward. You also, also breaking news before the ball game last week, Brandon Pfaadt got a new deal. Today, this guy gets a new deal.
This one's going to go. Ketel Marte make it 3 in a row. Upper deck in Milwaukee. Wow, is he hot.
That was his 35th home run last season. He finished the year with 36. That was a career best, 95 runs batted in. And today, the Diamondbacks rewarded Ketel Marte. Did I mention he's also on my fantasy team?
That's a good pickup.
There you go. 6-year extension, $116.5 million for Ketel Marte. Now, this deal restructures a 5-year, $76 million agreement that runs through 2027 with a team option till 28. So basically, it adds 3 new seasons, meaning Marte will be under contract through 2030 with a player option for 2031. The new contract guarantees him an additional $64 million to what he would have been paid and could be worth as much as $149.5 million with incentives. Two-time All-Star Ketel Marte, 4th on the MVP balloting back in 2019. His 9th season wearing the Snakes jersey, a career .280 hitter. Diamondbacks really doing a lot to lock up their core players. When you talk about Brandon Pfaadt on the pitching side, Ketel Marte, these guys really getting some nice deals to stay here in the desert.
Diamondback download.
Baseball talk. There you go. All right. Coming up next hour, much more coming for you straight ahead. We lost a giant in the movie industry last night. But how do you remember Val Kilmer? A lot of people, he was in a lot of movies, a ton of great movies, played some really interesting characters. What is that movie for you that reminds you of the great actor Val Kilmer, who died last night from complications of cancer at the age of 65? We'll tell you a little bit more about that coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported: Mission and Ahoway Speedway and Silver Bell, and also Pima and Craycroft. Slowdowns westbound Grant at I-10 and also westbound Speedway at I-10. 43, the overnight low, 64, mostly cloudy tomorrow, 67 and breezy now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
Respect the ideas, concepts, and principles of the OGs. Coach Rick Pitino.
Don't you know what adversity is all about? That's the game of life, not the game of basketball. You don't get down when things go wrong. Your whole life's gonna be adversity.
Preach, Rick. Just all-out grind will always work. If you don't think so, you can get the hell off his lawn and mine too.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon, right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Spring Sale and get 30% off paints and stains March 28th through April 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other. Sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last,
no.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We talk Diamondbacks baseball daily.
Overall, inside of our culture, it's built on love, trust, commitment, and effort. And I think love is the glue to all of it.
Love, trust, commitment, and effort. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hour number 2 on this Wednesday. Hope you're having a great midweek. The midweek was not so great for Arizona baseball. We'll dive into that this hour as they fell on the road last night to Grand Canyon. You heard that game right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Next up, the ASU Sun Devils, the Territorial Cup Series, will be this weekend. You'll hear all 3 of those games on Wildcats Radio 1290. All night games, because the game on Sunday is going to be nationally televised on ESPN2. So get all your work done early, J-Dub, in the afternoon, because the first pitch on Sunday is at 5 o'clock.
I'll be here.
There you go. You will be.
Also, your Cavs are about to play the Knicks.
Oh, there you go.
Right now on television as well.
Oh, nice. I'll have to flip that on in here. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 if you want to get in on any of the stuff that we've been talking about so far on the first hour of the show, the transfer portal, there's got to be penalties. What penalties would you make? And we're not saying that we don't believe that the players should have the opportunity to find new situations, but when you've got people playing for 4 schools in 4 years, that's not what this should be all about. And there's got to be some type of penalty for transferring, whether that's having to sit out a portion of the season or sit out the entire season again, or after a certain number of transfers, maybe you get one and the second or third time you got to sit out for something. Maybe we give you one. We'll throw you a bone for one, but there's got to be some type of penalties. I said my penalty would be that I would not allow kids to transfer within the same conference. They'd have to go to another conference. So if they played at Arizona, you got to go play at Tennessee.
Can't go to Iowa State.
Got to go play at Memphis. You got to go play at Ohio State or somewhere like that.
No Cyclones, though, right?
No Cyclones. Exactly. I don't want to have to see a Jada Williams coming back in here and playing us again and beating up on us. I don't want to see that.
Let's go find out when that game is, shall we?
I don't think we don't ever get the schedule till like 3 weeks before the season starts. What makes you think you're going to find that now?
Well, optimism.
We lost a giant in the movie industry. Maybe that's debatable whether Val Kilmer was a giant, but I know when I saw the news late last night, that Val Kilmer had passed away at the age of 65, it brought memories back for me. And this is a guy that was he played a number of different roles throughout his career and very well at that. I don't know that Val ever won any Oscars for any of his work, but he was just a solid character actor. And I got to thinking about the different roles that he played. And obviously there's one role that's very signature here to Southern Arizona, and that's his role as Doc Holliday in Tombstone, which, again, if you go down to Tombstone, those posters are still up everywhere. You cannot go to and walk into any establishment in Tombstone and not see the poster from that movie in every establishment in Tombstone. I'm thinking about, I have some family coming in here in April, and I think that might be, we were debating, should we take them to Tombstone? Should we take them to Bisbee? Because I don't think they haven't been to either one of those places. But, again, Doc Holliday, Tombstone is the Southern Arizona movie most associated with Val Kilmer. But for me, he's forever Iceman in Top Gun. Top Gun is probably, again, I'm not really into the cowboy movies. I saw Tombstone, very good movie, but that just never really was my thing. But Top Gun is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Growing up in the 80s, I can remember, I still to this day remember my frat brother, one of my pledge brothers, he had this just amazing system in his house where he was one of the first people I ever knew that hooked up the TV to the stereo and and then you could go in there and we'd watch movies and we would have stereo sound. He was one of the first people I ever knew that did that. And I still remember the night that we went over to his place and watched Top Gun, and he literally had the volume up as high as possible, and you felt like you were actually out on the runway with these jets. So Top Gun, Iceman. Let's hear Iceman.
You guys really are cowboys.
What's your problem, Kazansky?
You're everyone's problem. That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right. Ice, man. I am dangerous.
You! You are still dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime.
Well, you can be mine.
Iceman with the white beach blonde hair. They're out there playing beach volleyball. That's the movie that I first remember. Val Kilmer. Top Gun. Tombstone. He was one of the many Batman. Or Batmen, because there's been a lot of them.
Batmans.
Batmans. He was one of the many Batmans. Maybe not one of the best, but he was one of them. Jim Morrison, The Doors. He played that role. JW, you were talking about some of his early roles.
Yeah,
earlier.
see, for me, DK, it's different from my generation because the first movie that Val Kilmer was in is called Top Secret. And if you're familiar, Airplane and Airplane 2 had hit really hard, so that slapstick style. And Top Secret was in that same design. But the irony here being, DK, that the first two movies that he was ever in were as goofy a comedies as you could possibly imagine. And they were called Top Secret and Real Genius, in which he played a senior in college who was mentoring a freshman in college at a made-up school in California. But both those roles, DK, were so goofy and really out there silly. Like, silly is the best way to put it. So by the time he got to Top Gun, it was so out of his typecast. I mean, he was really a goofy, weird, funny guy in his early roles, which I remember. And Mad Mardigan as well from Willow is a very similar style. But I think that's the best thing about Val Kilmer to me is that he was able to, another great one is Heat. If you think about his character in that movie playing Jim Morrison, Top Gun, the idea of how serious he was in many of those roles, and obviously as Doc Holliday, really stole all those scenes in Tombstone. He was the most memorable actor in that movie. But I'll always remember him as that goofy, silly comedian who somehow found a way into these very serious roles. It's impossible for me to nail down one because Val Kilmer was a huge part of the 80s and to mid-90s and therefore a huge part of my childhood.
520-848-1290. It's our question of the day. Head on over right now to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290. What is the movie you most remember Val Kilmer? Now, I could only give you three choices and an other. So the three choices I went with were Top Gun, Tombstone, Batman Forever, and other. And, of course, you can leave a note for what that other movie is. For me, like I said, it was Top Gun. But let's hear Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry. Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Fight's not with you, Holiday.
I beg to differ, sir. We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood, remember?
I was just fooling about.
I wasn't. And this time, it's legal.
All right, Lunger. Let's do it. Say when.
Come on. Come on! Oh, Johnny. Come on! You're no Daisy. You're no Daisy at all.
Poor soul. He was just too high-strung.
Johnny Ringo learned you don't mess with Doc Holliday. He learned the hard way out on the plains of southern Arizona. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. The third member of our team joins us now. Her name is Cricket. Let's see if Cricket's of course Cricket's camera's not working.
Why?
Why would
Why
we
would it be
expect
working?
Cricket's camera to be working? All right, Cricket, our question of the day today. We lost Val Kilmer.
Oh, I'm sad.
Yeah, at the age of 65. What movie do you most remember Val Kilmer for?
Tombstone, 100%.
Oh, see, I thought that because you grew up here in Southern Arizona that you would say Tombstone.
Yeah, I like The Doors too, but he was such a great actor. He really like threw himself into all of his roles.
Exactly. I said mine was Top Gun because I'm a child of the 80s, and I had this frat brother who he was one of the first people I knew that would hook up the stereo speakers to the TV.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, and one night we went over there. He was having a party, and we were watching Top Gun, and it was like literally he like turned it all the way up, and I felt like we were actually out on the runway.
Yes,
with the jets. It was just so incredible. Of course, the choices are Top Gun, Tombstone, and Batman.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through.
Alfred is probably the best sidekick character, I think, in any type of movie. Whoever got to play Alfred, I always just loved Alfred in the whole Batman sphere of things.
Yeah.
But so that's what we want to know from our fans today. If you're out there listening, what's the movie you most remember Val Kilmer for? She says Tombstone. Do you remember when they filmed that here? Like, what was that? Was that was that a big deal back in the day when they filmed that here?
I don't think so. It had to have been like 1990. I think they filmed part of it at Old Tucson and a little bit at like the Emperita Ridge Ranch area.
Okay.
There's kind of another. I don't even think they filmed much of it, if any of it, actually in Tombstone. I don't think so.
So were you at the age where you were running around trying to see if you could find Val Kilmer anywhere or no?
No, I wasn't. I was really into it though. I was like that nerd in high school. Like I'm like so excited Tombstone. Like I think I graduated and then maybe it came out.
Yeah.
Like, I was pretty like
it came
was
out
it like
like
in
our
90,
senior year, basically.
92-ish, 93 or something. 93. Okay.
And your class of what?
92.
Okay, so it was right after you graduated from high school. Val Kilmer. She mentioned The Doors. Jim Morrison.
Oh man, he was so good in that.
They destroy the night.
Is that from the movie? Because that's him singing.
Destroy the night. Night divide the day. Trying to run, trying to hide. Break on through to the other side. Break on through, break on through, break on through. Oh, break on through.
What's the matter?
Nope.
Just doesn't sound right.
You know that, John? Jim, man. Staying in time. Jim.
I said we tried that bossa nova beat, right? That's what I was telling you about.
Yeah, so
I think it's hot.
all the original band members said that they couldn't tell the difference. And the big story that came out of that was that he had a really, really hard time coming back. He became Jim Morrison for so much of that after it was over, like he had to go to therapy, and there's a long period of time where Val Kilmer was stuck in a Jim Morrison mindset.
Yeah, like he lived like his life like for years.
Yeah.
Filming that movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he was just so good that he actually sang.
Definitely, like somebody said, like I read somewhere where he literally dressed like him for a year to dive into the part. I've always thought that was interesting. You hear those stories about how actors just like they'll go and like, oh, if I'm going to be playing a homeless person, they go and actually live like a homeless person for like a period of time to understand what that's like.
Yeah, it's impressive. I think Heath Ledger was also very much like that. Like I think he threw himself into roles.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Morrison's role in that movie, The Doors, is widely considered to be the best, if not one of the best adaptations of, a real life musician, for sure.
It was good. It was really good. I want to watch that tonight, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer. And at the end, you heard somebody say that was hot.
That's hot.
Meg Ryan.
Yes.
I mean, that was a movie filled with a lot of star power as well. Kyle MacLachlan was in it as well. Back in the day, that was another film from 1991. So rest in peace to Val Kilmer. Hop on our Twitter account right now and Cricket's camera has gone away again. It just
Oops, I probably did something.
Has a mind of its own.
You know why that movie was so well received?
Which one? Doors?
Yeah, because Oliver Stone directed it.
Oh, yeah.
So that was part of it, too.
Oh, yeah. He's one of the best ever at that. All right, Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. So earlier there was a truck stuck under the 6th Avenue underpass downtown Tucson. We've got a possible collision River Road and Hacienda del Sol backups westbound River at Hacienda del Sol. More slowing Mission and Ajo for southbound and westbound travel.
So do you get fired when you don't know how tall your truck is and you get it stuck under an overpass?
It kind of depends. It depends on many things. But I would guess possibly.
Possibly?
Unless you're the boss.
Okay, yeah.
You know. And also we've got some slowdowns for traffic on Campbell at Prince Road. 43 the overnight low, 64 mostly cloudy tomorrow, breezy, and 67 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
It's DK on the sports tip. Did you hear what we were talking about?
Dragon Ball, if you were going to be given an NIL for NAU, what sport would that have been?
Probably would have had to try it out for at least the Quidditch team.
Quidditch?
No, I bet.
Wow.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
even know what that is. What is Quidditch?
Quidditch is
It's a wizard sport.
It's a wizard
card game.
It's kind of like lacrosse on a broomstick with magic.
DK on the sports tip, Monday through Fridays at 3 right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. I knew we could not put off getting life insurance. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050 or go to SelectQuote.com now. That's 1-800-452-5050. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hi, I'm Mike Ant with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. NFL owners announcing Tuesday at the annual league meeting they have tabled the vote on the tush push until a later date. However, the NFL did approve to modify the kickoff rule, bringing the dead ball spot to the 35-yard line following a touchback. Now, the league is hoping this change will mean more kickoff returns this upcoming season. NFL owners also approved to apply playoff overtime rules to the regular season, meaning that both teams get to possess the ball. The rules amended to make regular season overtime 10 minutes and not 15. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones stated that he does not feel an urgency to extend Micah Parsons' contract, saying, quote, "I'd rather pay more and get it right than pay less and screw it up." And Patriots owner Robert Kraft announced Bill Parcells will be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame in 2025. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for sipping rosés with seltzers on ice, making margaritas with your favorite tequilas. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on spirits, beer, and wine. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Again, head on over to our Twitter account right now. We've got a new question of the day up. What is the movie that most reminds you of Val Kilmer, who passed away yesterday at the age of 65? Right now, it's a 50-50 split between Top Gun and Tombstone. No votes yet for Batman Forever, and no votes yet for Other, in which you can kind of just leave a comment for the other. But do that right now. Yesterday's question of the day, we'll give you the results on that. Kevin Durant out for a week due to injury for the Suns. The Suns got their butts kicked again last night, 133-123. They lost in Milwaukee to the Bucks. Do the Suns make the postseason? Yes, there's still time. No, pack up the boat because we're going fishing. 95% of the people that voted in this particular question of the day said nope. Time to pack up the boat and head for Cancun. Probably the right vote there in terms of the Suns, who, with that loss last night, they were, I think, they were a game and a half out of the play-in.
Yep.
And they are now, well, they're still a game and a half out. They're still a game and a half behind the Kings. The Kings are 36-39, 27 games behind Oklahoma City. The Suns are 35-41. So one game behind in the win column and 2 games behind in the loss column makes a game and a half out of the play-in tournament, the number 10 spot, having lost 4 consecutive games, have the Suns. So not looking good with about, 6 games left to play.
I mean, the only good news is that the Kings and Mavericks don't really want to have anything to do with the NBA playoffs. So there's that. But, I mean, the Suns actually have to win games in order for that to matter because they are a game and a half out from the Kings. The Mavericks, surprisingly, have won 4 out of their last 6, but the Kings are like 1-8 in their last 9. So, yeah, I mean, the Mavericks, if you don't know, are walking wounded. They don't really even have a roster to put together to compete at this level. They almost had to forfeit games a couple weeks ago because they don't have enough players on their bench that are active. So that's who is above the Suns right now, and that's the only good news is the Mavericks and Kings are directly above them, and neither of those two teams either want to be in the playoffs or have the personnel to get there. So.
All right, now that basketball is over, we had a chance to get out to Arizona baseball today for their media availability. You'll hear from some of the folks we had a chance to speak with here coming up shortly. The players, I should say, the guys lost last night 11-5 to Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon just has our number the last couple seasons. They, of course, beat the Wildcats in the postseason last year to start the regional. It was a quick regional here as the Wildcats were 2-out after winning both the Pac-12 regular season and tournament conference championships, but they could not get out of their own home regional last year. This game got off to a pretty good start for the Wildcats. They would take an early lead on Grand Canyon.
Penscover, and the next one, Mason, grounded to the right side, shift on, and the ball goes right underneath Smolinski's glove out into right field. In to score Caulfield, and Walton will take advantage of it. He'll come in to score, and the Wildcats lead it 2-0.
That run courtesy of a Grand Canyon defensive error. There were 4 errors in this ball game between the two teams. 2 runs for the Wildcats in the first. Grand Canyon would tie it with 2 in the bottom of the first.
This is loaded, nobody out. And the pitch, and it's a ground ball left side. That'll get through for a base hit. Wakefield comes in to score. Olan waved around third. He will come in, and we've got a tie game.
Zach Yorkie would drive in 3 runs on the night. 2-2 there, and then Grand Canyon would add to their lead, and they would take, well, actually, I'm sorry, Arizona would take the lead in the 4th inning on a sac fly by the Frenchman, Maurice Marion, would knock in a run. I'm sorry, Matias Marion would knock in a run with a sac fly. GCU, though, in the bottom of the 4th, would retake the lead.
And the 0-1 swung on, hit up the middle, into center for a base hit. Payton will score. Sanders is waved around. He'll score. And GCU has the lead on a 2-run single from Scuba Smolinski.
Scubas Malinsky. That's an interesting name. And you heard him say on that play Peyton scored. That would be Eli Peyton, and he would wield his big bat later on.
Pitched twice last week in addition as this one is ripped out to deep right field. Going back is Guile at the track, and it's over the fence for a home run. Eli Peyton with the homer to extend GCU's lead, now 6-3, as Gunnar Guile did his best to track it down out there at the wall in right field.
The Wildcats this season have been known for their 3 base hits, and Matisse Marion would contribute to that late in the game.
3-2 again, and that's hit to left center field. On the run is Pelk. He won't get to it. That ball's headed for the gap all the way to the wall. Around second goes Guile, now waved around third. On the way to third, sliding in safely with an RBI triple. Matisse Marion with a triple to the gap in left center here at GCU Ballpark. Picks up his 2nd RBI of the night, his 11th on the season. And Arizona, a team that leads the nation in triples, just picked up the 18th of the season.
Pretty impressive for the Wildcats, but they lose the game by a score of 11-5. Pitching a little bit uneven last night.
Tarleton State is right on their heels, though, with 15 triples.
15 for Tarleton State.
Today
now,
I learned that Tarleton State is
Texas.
a thing. I've never heard of that school before.
Yeah, they're in. I think it's Tarleton, Texas, but it might be another town. They played basketball down there, and they actually had Travar Jackson, who played at Pima College on the basketball team, had gone down there initially, played a season down at Tarleton before he transferred to GCU, was a part of that Antelopes team that went to the NCAA tournament this past year. 8 pitchers last night for Chip Hale. Mason Russell started, went 2 innings. Garrett Hicks pitched an inning. Raul Gareza, who had been pitching very well, got in for an inning. Julian Tangini, who we are going to hear from coming up later in this hour, pitched a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts. It was a little bit of a rough inning for the Wildcats closer, Tony Pluta, who gave up 4 runs on 4 hits in a third of an inning, but there was a reason for that. Let's hear from the head coach after the ball game, Chip Hale.
Obviously disappointed that we lost. You play the game for a reason, and I know midweeks are hard. There were some good things that happened. I thought we swung the bats well. We just didn't get a whole lot to show for it. Hit the ball very hard. We talk about hitting the ball low and hard, and we did that. Unfortunately, the ground balls were at people, and a couple double plays hurt us. But for the most part, was happy with that. Defense, again, hurt us. We had the bunt where we slipped at first. Garen slipped in the soft dirt, and ball got by us. That really hurt us. And, most of our guys who've been pitching pitched fine. Tony had a weird one. He got stuck in that traffic. He had a test. So he didn't come till later. He got here about the 5th inning because of the accident on I-10. And I think it could have affected him a little bit. So, you're never going to be perfect all year. So he had his one clunker.
You're 5 games in here without Brendan. Do you think any of the players are trying to take on too much?
That's a good question. I don't think so on a personal level. They've been pretty good about it. I think they've been doing the best they can. I just don't think, we're in one of those type of ruts where it seems like balls we're hitting well are getting caught, and that everything the other team's hitting is falling. And you go through those things, and we just can't continue to play defense like we have been. That's really been the difference. I think even with or without Brendan, our defense has really failed us, and we're going to try to tighten that up this weekend. It's going to be a real hostile environment, and it's going to be great. The guys will be jacked up, but they have to keep their wits about them, because it's going to be, it's going to be paramount that we get every out that we can, and not give ASU, 4 or 5 outs an inning.
You mentioned Tony had a test. How does that protocol work on game days? Are they responsible to get to the games on their own? Or?
No, we had our equipment manager, Frankie. We would never let a player drive from here to Phoenix on his own. As we know, I-10 is dangerous. So we had Frankie wait, and he took him up. And usually it's funny, last time we went to Grand Canyon last year, he had the same thing happen. So he's an engineering major, and his classes are at weird times of the day where a lot of our guys are online, and he's not. So we'll always, bow to whatever the class is. We'll make sure we get that done first.
All right, that was Chip Hale. Actually, this afternoon, we had a chance to talk to Chip Hale and a number of the players over at High Corbett Field ahead of the series coming up this weekend against Arizona State. You heard the question asked about Brendan Summerhill, who is out with a hand injury, and then that's the Wildcats' best offensive player. Right now, he leads the team in batting average at 409, hits with 38, triples with 6, total bases 61. He's drawn 16 walks. His on-base percentage is .500. His slugging percentage is .656. That is a huge, huge element that is out of the Wildcats lineup, and the offense has struggled a little bit without him, and now they've got to go play an Arizona State team that right now is sitting above them by 1 game in the Big 12 Conference this weekend on their home field.
Leads the nation in triples.
Yeah.
In only 23 games, too. 6 triples in 23 games for Mr. Summerhill.
Yeah, it was a guy coming back, obviously, that you were depending on a lot from this. I mean, he's projected in some mock drafts to potentially be a first-round pick coming up in the Major League Baseball draft in June. So that's a huge loss right now for this lineup to not have him for the Arizona State series coming up this weekend. All right. One guy we mentioned who pitched extremely well last night, Julian Tungini. He is a transfer. Arizona is his 3rd school. He started at Boston College, pitched 2 years there. He was at Indiana last year. He was a former teammate of Adonis Guzman at Boston College, and he was there when the Wildcats pitching coach was also at Boston College. We'll hear from Julian for the first time when we come back. Cricket right now getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions River Road and Hacienda del Sol. Some westbound slowing on River at Hacienda del Sol. Keno Parkway north of Ajo at Keno and Tucson Marketplace Boulevard. Camp Lowell and Swan and Camp Lowell clearing. And at Nogales Highway and Saurita Road reported as a traffic hazard and possible traffic signals malfunctioning. 43, the overnight low, 64, mostly cloudy tomorrow, 67 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. with decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other, sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last.
No.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
I'm Andy Gresh for the Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. A lot of teams are complaining about the tush push in the NFL. Here's what I don't understand. Why aren't more teams trying to do this themselves? If you've got 5 bigs up front that are pretty good, you can run the tush push as well. Time for teams to stop wanting to get rid of the play and start embracing it and doing it themselves. I'm Andy Gresh.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Wildcats Radio 1290 presents Easter Sunday at the Pima County Fair on April the 20th. Get free admission until noon with 3 cans of food. It's also wristband day. Just $30 for unlimited rides until 6 p.m. PimaCountyFair.com is the place that you can go, or you can call 762-FAIR for more information. Of course, the Pima County Fair, located 1 mile south of I-10 on Houghton Road. Pictures with the Easter Bunny will be available. Treat bags to the first 500 kids under the age of 10. You can see Baby Shark strolling the grounds. Baby Shark. I don't think that's how it goes. Lowrider Car Show. Bring out your hydraulics and much more for all included. That's the cost of the fair admission. Get involved right now. You can get free admission until noon that day, Sunday, April the 20th, with 3 cans of food. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. Excuse me. We're talking some Arizona baseball here. The Wildcats have both the Arizona baseball and softball teams have big series coming up this weekend. The fellows are going to be on the road for their rivalry series against Arizona State. The ladies already completed their win in the Territorial Cup Series. They also did so on the road, taking 2 out of 3 from the Sun Devils. Now, that could change. Right now, the Wildcats have the point, but of course, now there is also a Big 12 softball tournament. So if the Sun Devils and Wildcats were to meet again and Arizona State would win, then they could essentially split that point. Now, we had we want to correct, we had the numbers wrong last week. I believe we said that the Wildcats were up 10 to 5.5 in the Territorial Cup Series. It's actually 9.5 to 6.5 is what Arizona is currently leading the Territorial Cup Series. You need to get to 12 to win now because there's 22 sports that the two schools compete against each other in. So the Wildcats still need 2.5 more points to clinch a Territorial Cup Series victory for the second year in a row. All right, this guy pitched a pretty solid inning last night for the Arizona Wildcats.
Here's the pitch to York, and that's in there for strike 3 called. So big strikeout there for Dungini to get things started here in the 7th. The 1-2 to the plate, in there for strike 3 called. Dungini has struck out the first 2 men that he's faced, both looking. The 2-1 to the plate is a chopper to the right side. Waiting on it is Kane. He'll toss over to Dungini covering for the out, and the inning is over. So the Antelopes go 1-2-3. We played 7 here at Grand Canyon.
Justin Tangini, he is a senior. I mentioned, if you were not with us in the last segment, this is his 3rd school. He started his college career at Boston College, where he pitched 2022 and 2023. He spent a year at Indiana. That was last year, 2024. And now he is here with the Arizona Wildcats. And he has pitched primarily, if not at all of his outings so far for the Wildcats in relief. 13 innings, 24 strikeouts in those 13 innings so far this season for Justin. That's well over almost 20 strike. I have to do the numbers on
almost
that.
2 an inning,
that's
right?
2 an inning. Yeah, that would be almost 18 strikeouts per 9 innings for Justin Tangini. And he has struck out at least one batter in all of his appearances, all 10 of his appearances this season. We had a chance to hear from Justin for the first time earlier today, and he opened by talking about how happy he is to be here playing for the Wildcats.
I couldn't be happier. I knew what I was going to get coming here, and being reunited with Adonis Guzman, which was a former teammate of mine, and Kevin Vance, and also previously working with John as well, so I couldn't be happier.
Did you work with John in one of the lab settings or whatever?
Yes, I did. I did during my sophomore year.
Okay.
Had you already transferred to Indiana when Vance got hired here, or what was the order of those?
Yeah, I knew where I was going to go before Vance had made his decision.
Okay. Had it been another way around and you were maybe still in the portal, could you have possibly seen yourself out here?
Potentially. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with the decisions I made.
Sure. But when it came to going back in the portal, was Arizona just felt like a natural because you knew the quantities here?
Yeah. When Vance reached out, I had followed along with Arizona and what he was doing here, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. So when he reached out, I knew that I was definitely going to make it on campus.
Has he changed since his BC days? I know there's a lot of technology that he has at his fingertips here that, I don't know, maybe he might not have had back then. He's also talked about learning and growing as a coach.
Yeah, 100%. Kevin Vance is the man. I loved him when I was a freshman, sophomore at Boston College, and I had the opportunity to be coached by him. Here we have so many resources and a pitching lab and all the latest data and technology you can imagine. So it helps him communicate what he knows even better.
You obviously haven't been around the ASU-Arizona rivalry too much, so what's the mentality heading into this matchup?
Yeah, the same as it is every weekend. I know this is a big weekend for us, and we're just excited to go out there and compete and treat it like every other weekend.
What do you remember about pitching against Arizona last year?
I remember hitting Guerin in the face, so I remember that. I remember not doing too well.
Yeah. Did Guerin present you with like a dental bill or any? Have there been any sort of jokes when you joined the team or anything?
No, but it was definitely when he had mentioned it. I was like, I got the flashback. I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry about that. But we're good. We're good in the locker room.
A lot of times when relievers come into the game in high leverage situations, there's a lot of adrenaline and so forth. When there's a big crowd or a lively crowd like you had at West Virginia, or they're going to be huge crowds at ASU, how does that impact the way you approach things?
It doesn't change anything. So we try and take everything one pitch at a time and go from there, regardless of the crowd, regardless of who we're playing. They're all Bernard is what we say.
Right. Do you ever have to guard against kind of overthrowing if you're kind of all juiced up?
It's just about taking a deep breath and taking it one pitch at a time.
How have you developed your mix to try to get hitters out?
Well, since I've been here, all my stuff has gotten significantly better. Fastball, curveball, added a new slider, and attacking hitters with that and knowing what my strengths are and what hitters' weaknesses might be and attacking that.
What are you getting most of your strikeouts with? Is it the slider that's been the most effective?
Sometimes. Usually it's the curveball or the heater. It's a pretty good mix of all three pitches.
What is the difference between the slider and the curveball in terms of velo and shape?
The slider is a little bit harder than the curveball, and it doesn't move as much. It kind of it's called a gyro is the technical term, which means it just kind of has this bullet spin, which is a little bit harder to pick up, and then the curveball has more depth to it.
How would you say Vance's philosophy has evolved, I guess, since you first became aware of it in Boston?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is routine. Keeping our routine, knowing exactly what we need to do when we show up to the field every single day, and keeping that the same regardless of what the results are, regardless of the highs and lows of the game. Just sticking to the routine and attacking our process one pitch at a time.
So I have to know, a pound of ground beef every morning. Can you explain this routine, and is it different forms that you eat it, or?
I'm pretty basic when it comes to cooking, and this year, being my last year as a senior, I knew I needed to gain some weight, so I decided to hit the kitchen and start with a pound of ground beef every morning, and slowly, kept working that up and eating that. But usually it's sweet potatoes, ground beef, and that's my breakfast every morning.
Nothing else with it? No egg? No.
No,
So
that's it.
How do you make it?
How do I make it? I bake the sweet potatoes, and then I cook the ground beef, and I mix it together, put some honey in it. It's pretty good.
Have you gotten anyone here to try it?
Yeah. I got a few teammates that are in on it.
Who are you rooming with?
My roommates are Owen Kromkowski and Bryce McKnight.
Okay. Owen's had a pretty good sophomore season here. What have you seen?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. Seeing what he did freshman year and what he's done now, he's taken a huge jump. Looks really good.
You should get him to eat that. That put some weight on him.
Yeah.
He needs it.
Yeah, maybe.
You claim in your bio to have the best jump shot in New England. Is this accurate?
It's very accurate. Yeah.
Were you a good high school basketball player?
I was average. Played JV, but I still had a really good jump shot. So that's what's important.
You're an East Coast kid. How's it been transitioning to moving out west?
It's been awesome. I love it. The weather's unbelievable. Being able to play on a baseball field, every single day is like a dream come true. Especially being in the East Coast when it's freezing cold and you're playing games in the snow, and so it's awesome. I love it here.
The pitching staff as a whole did extremely well on the homestand that you guys had, and there's been a little bit of a drop-off since then. What are some of the things that you guys are talking about or working on to kind of get back to where you were?
The biggest thing is turning the page regardless of what happens. If we don't execute as many pitches as we want to, or we don't have the success on the field that we want to, you kind of just have to turn the page and stick to your process and trust the process and trust the script.
Julian Tangini from Connecticut, and again, he's pitched at Boston College as well as Indiana, and he's a guy that has had plus strikeout numbers everywhere that he's been in college baseball, except for his first season. That was the only year he did not have more strikeouts than innings pitched. He had 17 strikeouts to 21. He's always been a reliever primarily. He has made 3 starts in his career. But all told, he's got 122 strikeouts in 98 1/3 innings for his college career.
He wasn't eating enough ground beef in that first year.
Yeah, ground beef and sweet potatoes.
And honey.
Every morning. That's different. I mean, that's, again, whatever you got to do to pack the weight on.
Let me ask you a question,
try that.
David Kelly. Have you ever eaten to gain mass in your life?
I think I've tried. I think there might have been 1 or 2 times where I tried to do that, but it just never really was for me. Like, I could never eat a lot like that and to try to put on more mass.
Yeah, no, I've never made a concerted effort to change my diet so I could add more mass. No, never.
All right, we'll keep an eye on Julian. Again, he's only going to be here this 1 year. He's already a senior, so this will be his final year of college baseball. But numbers pretty good so far out of the bullpen. He does have an ERA of 4.85. So, but the last 2 outings out, he has pitched 2 innings, struck out 3, and not allowed a hit. And that was against Baylor and Grand Canyons. And he had a pretty good outing the first time through against Arizona State in that non-conference game here at High Corbett Field, where he went an inning and 2/3, allowed just 1 hit and struck out 1. And I mentioned he struck out at least 1 batter in all 10 of his appearances. Wildcats and Sun Devils coming up Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. You'll hear all 3 of those games right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. First pitch coming up at 6:30 on Friday and Saturday. So our coverage will begin at 6:15 on Friday night and Saturday night. And then first pitch at 5 on Sunday. Coverage right around 4:45, 4:50 for Game 3 of that series. Brian Jeffries will have the call. We might hear Brody Dryan on those calls as well, since Brody was a part of the broadcast last night with the game being up in Phoenix. So we'll look forward to those guys this weekend and hopefully getting 2 out of 3 to put a nice stranglehold on that Territorial Cup Series point for the baseball side as well. But again, a tournament is ahead for the Big 12, so there's always could be another meeting down the road. So you need to beat the Sun Devils as many times as possible. We'll hear more from Chip Hale. We know, Jada, we always talk about DK with BB and DK with TL. So we're going to continue that in the spring. We asked a bunch of questions to the head coach today. So we'll have those for you on Friday as a lead-in to Game 1 of the series. DK with CH. I like it. My questions to Chip Hale this week heading into the rivalry matchup. We'll get his thoughts on a number of things.
David.
I didn't get any Davids out of Chip Hale today. But we'll hear those questions coming up for you later in the week. Or if you don't want to wait, just head on over to our YouTube page. They're all on. We've got Chip Hale. I don't know if I've made those live yet. But we'll have the media sessions that we did today up live on our YouTube channel coming up for you a little bit later this evening. And speaking of, I got something really fun to tell you about our app. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions at a reported River Road to the east of Campbell near River Road and Hacienda del Sol with westbound slowing. Camp Lowell and Swan and Camp Lowell slowing on Swan at Camp Lowell. Keno north of Ajo at Keno and Tucson Marketplace in the clearing stages. Some busy travel, some rush hour slowdowns, Campbell at Prince and also at Grant Road and Campbell. And I'm Cricket, and your weather looking at 43 is the overnight low, 64 mostly cloudy tomorrow, and a 65 now. And that's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. If you have a spicy side, Taco Bell now has a menu to match. Taco Bell's new caliente sauce made with red jalapenos is the spicy side of Cantina chicken. Try it today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact store for availability.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry, Terry.
Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Come on in to Total Wine & More. Prices much lower than a grocery store. Spirits, wine, beer for a whole lot less. Walking down the aisles makes you stop and say, yes! From mixing cocktails to a friendly get-together, Total Wine has everything you need, and more. With the lowest prices and best selection for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Final hour of our show today. Full shows all of this week. First time we've had that in a long time where we have full shows for an entire week.
That's not because we're lazy. It's because of basketball.
Exactly. Yeah. Basketball preempts. We have game nights at least once during the week and once on the weekends, but now there are no game night or game day broadcasts from our standpoint. We still have baseball, obviously, and softball will be on the air as well this weekend over on KTUC 1400. They've got to mention they have a huge series coming up against Oklahoma State, who was thought to be maybe the team to beat this year on the women's side in softball, but they've struggled a bit coming in here. So we'll see what the Wildcats can line on them. It was interesting. I mentioned earlier in the week, we went and saw Daft Punk at the Laser Light Show at the Philandro Science Center on campus on Saturday night. And as we were leaving, the softball team was getting back from their trip to Provo, Utah. They played BYU Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they were getting back Saturday evening about the time we got out of Philandro at around 10:30 in the evening. So we stopped and had a conversation with Caitlin Lowe, who was standing outside the exit area there, that little road that goes in back behind Hillenbrand Stadium. So we're talking to her and Laura Lappin, one of the assistant coaches, just kind of getting the lay of how this series went and whatnot. And so now you've got Oklahoma State coming to town. And so that is going to be the first meeting for these two teams, which figure to be two of the power teams on the softball side in this new aligned Big 12 conference. So looking forward to that this weekend. And again, all three of those games will be on KTUC Freedom 1400. Now, I said I've got something interesting to tell you about our app. Stay connected while you are on the go with the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. You can listen to Arizona Wildcats play-by-play. You can get the latest news on your teams and more all in one place. In fact, I'll tell you what the top story is on our app right now here coming up in a moment. Something else, more news from your Arizona Diamondbacks today. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app from the App Store or Google Play, or text the word app to 520-848-1290, and I'll send you a link so you can download our app. And how about this? The Wildcats Radio 1290 app is now sponsored by Goodfellas Home Solutions. So appreciate the fine folks over at Goodfellas Home Solution for slapping their sponsorship on our app. You'll see their logo if you open up the front page of our app. And so be sure you get over there and check out all that they have to offer. Show the Wildcats Radio 1290 crew your 1290 app on your phone if you see us out, and we will tell you how you can enter to win $100. How about that? Only at official stops. Visit the WildcatsRadio1290.com/winmoney to see what's coming up. Again, thanks to the folks out at Goodfellas Home Solutions for sponsoring the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. Now, if you go to our app right now, you're not going to see the images because, we've had some image issues once again. That seems to be an ongoing problem with the folks that put our app out, but we hope to have that figured out. The San Diego Padres, this is the top story you're going to see right now. The San Diego Padres and the Diamondbacks, first of all, the Padres are just unbelievable, as are the Dodgers.
I didn't have time when you were doing the Diamondbacks download, but, they are 5 games in and they're 3 games out.
Yeah.
5 games played and 3 games out.
Because the Dodgers and the Padres refuse to lose. The Padres, at last check, were beating up and about to sweep my Cleveland baseball team once again.
They're both 7-0. I know the Yankees and the Padres are both 7-0.
I think that
Dodgers,
it is now a final 5-2. Padres beat the Guardians. So the Padres are 7-0 on the season. But these two teams, the Padres and the Diamondbacks, are likely to meet for a regular season series next year in Mexico City. How about that?
Cool.
The games will be held at Estadio Alfredo Harp Helú, named for the Mexican billionaire who is a minority owner of the San Diego Padres. San Diego and Arizona were scheduled to play Major League Baseball's first regular season games in Mexico City. You'll remember back in 2020, but that 2-game set was scrapped due to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
Mexico City finally hosted MLB action 2 years ago when the Padres swept a 2-game series with the Giants. The following year, last year, the Astros and Rockies played a pair of games down there, with the Astros winning those 2 games. And so now it appears that next year it's going to be the Padres and the Diamondbacks playing down in Mexico City. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. Major League Baseball held regular season games in Monterey back in 96, 99, and 2018. All of those games involved the Padres. There was a preseason game last week, or an exhibition game last week down in Monterey. The Red Sox played in that game. You'll remember Rob Refsnyder hit a 3-run home run in that game down in Monterey last week. So great to see Major League Baseball really taking the game down to Mexico.
That's a very hitter-friendly park because it's at a high altitude and it's got hitters' dimensions. 11 home runs in the first ever game played there.
Wow.
11 home runs from 10 different players set a Major League Baseball record. So, yeah. Watch out, pitchers.
Did you see where I sent you a picture? Did you see where my sister-in-law is sitting at the Cavs game?
She's got great seats.
She is like that's. I don't think I've ever been that close in a fan manner. I mean, I've been that close.
She better watch out. She might be involved in a fight because that's like the fight zone these days. That's where the players spill into.
My sister-in-law is sitting right behind the basket on the floor.
Yeah, under the base, right behind the baseline. That's trouble area these days.
I mean, my goodness, I need to hang out with her more often when I go back home because she's apparently got the hookups. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Speaking of the NBA, were there some performances last night in the league? Well, let's hear what happened with the Nuggets and Nikola Jokic in a game that went to overtime.
Steal by Denver, and here comes Jokic, who is having an incredible season. Pick at a screen, Jokic a 3. Jokic from 15, fouled, count it, to the line, and Court picks up another. Aaron Gordon, here is Jokic. Brown, they got Pickett in there and Watson, 3, Jokic. Wow.
What a weapon. Jokic has almost got to touch it every time down. He's the one guy that Minnesota just does not have an answer.
Jokic spinning, shooting, scoring. Rebound Jokic. Gobert there behind the back. Sneaks one inside. Christian Braun. What a pass by Jokic.
He's got eyes in the back of his head.
Steal by Jokic. Gordon puts up a 3. Control. Randall is there. The twirling Jokic. A tough shot. Got it. What a play. Flying inside. Anthony Edwards with 29. Gordon the other way. 3 is in.
What a game.
Jokic in for the tie. Timeout Minnesota.
Double overtime last night. Timberwolves would win it 140-139 despite 61 points from Nikola Jokic to go along with 10 rebounds and 10 assists, a triple-double with 61 points.
Yeah, believe it or not, that's not the first time that's happened. Mr. James Harden.
Did somebody lost score?
No, James Harden had a 60-point triple-double, and so did Luka. But they both had 60. So the 61 mark is now the most points ever scored in NBA history in a triple-double. The most amazing thing about that, DK, is Joker came out with about 4 minutes left in the first. He was out for a very brief rest, came back in, and he never came out again. Played the second, third, fourth quarters.
53 minutes.
Yeah.
He and Christian Braun both played 53 minutes in that game. Aaron Gordon, you heard him on those highlights. He finished with a pedestrian 30.
Just 30.
Just
I mean,
30.
I wonder how he gets 30 when Joker's. I mean, he makes it look so easy.
Right?
Yeah.
140-39 again. 139 was the final in that game. Those two teams are pretty even in the West, so that would be interesting if they came up. Warriors went on the road and beat the Grizzlies last night 134-125.
Yeah.
Steph Curry had 52 in that game.
He did 12 threes, and then Ja did Ja stuff.
So we didn't talk about that last week. The Grizzlies are 12 games over 500, and they fired their coach.
We mentioned it briefly in
6
one
games
of the
to go.
Updates, yeah. But the story behind the Grizzlies is this year they've been running this no-pick offense, which is really weird to watch if you watch their games, in which the ball handler at the top of the key does not have a second player come up and set a pick on his man. It's all one-on-one, and it's all spread and 5 out, which allows for so many driving lanes. But rumor is behind the scenes that Ja was not happy that he's got the least amount of touches this season that he has in his entire NBA career. He might not be getting any touches because of his past. And last night he made a little hand gesture that resembled shooting of guns towards the Warriors bench. And that's not a good thing if you have that history. So
No, not in the least. So the Grizzlies are probably headed to the playoffs in a very unusual situation, but hey, not the first time that's happened. The Cavaliers fired their coach and went to the finals.
The dumb thing to me, I'm blanking on his name, but he was by far and away the most successful coach that the Grizzlies have ever had. So he's more or less the architect.
Right.
And you can obviously point towards Triple J and Ja, and like Bane is there as well. Like they've got a lot of quality players. But their head coach, who was just fired,
Taylor Jenkins.
I mean, he was there throughout the extent of this building up of the Grizzlies into a contender. People remember, I think it was 2 years ago that they finished second out of the blue in the West. So it's a really good young core, good roster. I think it's just shocking whenever a team that's 10 plus games over 500 has their coach fired 90% through the season. There's got to be something more to that story where I think ownership, because the way I read it was that the players were not consulted. So this was not a situation where the players had a mutiny and they didn't want to play for their coach anymore. And, why would you when he's had so much success and their team is sitting at 44-32 currently? But, I guess ownership was not super happy with Jenkins and he's no longer there. I'm sure he won't be unemployed for very long.
Probably not. Probably not when you've got that type of success, for sure. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Last week we mentioned that it was a great week for members of the 1997 Arizona men's basketball team because 2 of them got jobs coaching Division I college basketball. Josh Pastner is back in the coaching business. His third stop will be UNLV to coach the Rebels. And Michael Bibby has his first Division I head coaching job as the new boss at Sacramento State. In case you missed it, Michael Bibby was a guest with Jim Rome. You will hear that interview next. DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Earlier collisions, La Cañada and Lambert Lane and La Cañada, Keno Parkway north of Ajo at Keno and Tucson Marketplace Boulevard, Camp Lowell and Swan is clearing, also River Road east of Campbell near Hacienda del Sol, westbound slowing, westbound on River Road approaching Campbell. 43 the overnight low, 64 and mostly cloudy tomorrow and 62 and windy now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry. Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry!
Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it.
Woo!
Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Honey, we should probably take something to the Johnsons.
Oh, great idea. Kim loves fresh flowers.
Perfect. Okay, let's see who's open.
Hi there. We've got gorgeous bouquets ready to go. 0.3 miles from your house.
All these shops are way too far. We're going to be late.
Hello?
I got nothing. I guess we'll have to go get grocery store flowers.
Can he seriously not see us?
No, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local florists. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost. Get found. Get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
The Arizona weather is hard on your heating and cooling system. One day you're running your heat at full blast. The next day we're running our air conditioning. Good news, Rightway is running a $59 complete system tune-up. We'll come out and tune up both your AC and furnace from top to bottom for just $59. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. We'll even include a complimentary refrigerant leak check at no charge. Call or text Rightway at 520-640-2665 for your $59 tune-up special.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Spring Sale and get 30% off paints and stains March 28th through April 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. The Yukon basketball team is back in the Final Four once again. The second-seeded Huskies defeated USC on Monday 78-64. Yukon was led by Paige Beckers in the victory, who finished with 31 points. The superstar is now third on the storied program's all-time scoring list. She's now 2 wins away from a national title in the final moments of her collegiate career. A title would be UConn's first since 2016.
We got a whole lot of heart and a whole lot of toughness about us. We've been through so much adversity as individuals, as a team, and how much it's brought us together, how much it's made us stronger.
Beckers and UConn will face UCLA in the national semifinals on Friday, which you can hear right here on Westwood One. We'll have complete coverage of the women's Final Four starting at 6 p.m. Eastern that day with an hour-long pregame show. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amber Theo Harris on Westwood One.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This March Madness, Wendy's has a $1 JBC or double stack with in-app offer and purchase. So we're throwing the biggest watch party in the country and giving you the best seats to watch all the action. But just so you know, the seats are in a Wendy's, and the action is just staring at the $1 JBC or double stack in front of you. Also, you can bring a +1, if it's a burger. When it's gotta be fresh, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating Wendy's. Limit 1 JBC or double stack or qualifying item per offer with additional purchase. Wendy's app account registration required.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. What is the one big penalty you would impose to student athletes in the transfer portal before they could become eligible to play at their new schools? Let us know that. One of the new coaches in Division I men's college basketball is none other than Mike Bibby, Arizona basketball class of 1998, 1997 national champion. Is the new head coach at Sacramento State. He has already inked Shaquille O'Neal, the son of Shaquille O'Neal. So that is one big get for Bibby in his new city. Not his new city, really his old city, because he played for the Sacramento Kings. So very familiar with the landscape of basketball in Sacramento. Mike Bibby was a guest on the Jim Rome show. Talked about his first opportunity as a college coach after winning 4 state championships at Shadow Mountain High School in the Phoenix area.
He was a first-team All-American. He was a Pac-10 Conference Player of the Year. He was the 2nd overall pick in the 1998 NBA Draft. He is Mike Bibby. Mike, my man, it has been way, way, way too long. How you doing, Mike? What's going on?
I'm doing good. How are you, Jim? It's good to see you again.
Good to see you, dude. Great to see you. All right, so first things first, how good does it feel to be returning to Sacramento, where you have so many good years and so many good memories?
It feels good, especially going back there to start my career again. Dr. Luke and Mark Orr are doing great things over there, doing great jobs with the football program. And now we're trying to bring the basketball program up to that same level. And it's just great to go back to Sacramento. Sacramento's my second home. I'm ready to start this thing going, Jim, and get this thing going.
No, I know you are, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. But, being drafted, Mike, by Vancouver, that's a different deal now. But, man, you had some years. You had some years with Sacramento. You had some great years. When you think back on those years, what kind of memories do you have? What kind of thoughts do you have?
It just kind of restarting my career. I remember a story. I was in Vancouver. A lot of people don't watch us play and stuff like that, but I was in Vancouver, and I remember I was in the mix of everything. I'm one of the top players on the Grizzlies, and the guy tells me, "Hey, whatever happened to you? Do you still play?" And I was just like, "Oh man," it was just tough to be in a situation like that. I think coming to Sacramento, like playing in Vancouver, I didn't know how many years I'd end up playing because it was so bad, and it just brought me down. And getting traded to Sacramento kind of restarted me getting to play for a city that is so into their sports and in the Kings and stuff like that. It was a great start for me again.
Mike, I saw it firsthand. It's always been a great, great jungle market. It's been great for my career. Sacramento is a great, great town, especially when things are good. And by the way, even when things weren't good, they would still pack the old Arco Arena back in the day. When you think back, Mike, and I'm going to talk to you about Sacramento State, when you think back to those great wars with the Lakers, what kind of thoughts do you have?
That I got to go against, I think arguably the top 5, 2 of the top 5 players to ever play the game, and to be a part of those rivalries and be able to tell my kids, hey, I played against the most dominant player that ever played the game in Shaq. I played against, Kobe, one of the best top 3 players of all time. And just to be in those situations and have stories like that, a lot of people don't get to say that. And being in Sacramento, it's the best you can do. Like I said, the reason why I wanted to go to Sacramento was because of the fans and what they brought to the game. And they, like you said, even when things are going bad, they'll always be at the game. So, they love to see winning. I'm trying to bring that back to Sacramento.
Man, those were good times. Mike Bibby is joining us. He is the head coach at Sacramento State. So, Mike, the thing about Sacramento State is it's a program that's only had a winning record twice since moving up to D1 in 91 to 92. I know you're aware of all this. What do you, aside from it being Sacramento, what do you like about the opportunity? Why did you decide to take this on?
I just love to teach kids. I think the culture needs to change over there, get to a winning culture. And I think I can help that. And like I said, what better way to start my career in Sacramento? I just love the challenge. I think, a lot of people, like you said, 2 seasons and however many years since 90s, I think we could change that. And I think with the signing, with the commitment of Shaquille O'Neal, I think that's going to help us out a lot. And I think from here on out, we'll get a lot of kids, from the portal, from prep schools going in that would love to come here, and I'll let them play their game of basketball.
So what about that, Mike? In terms of players themselves, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, what your plan is. You need players. You know this. Have you heard from players? Have you heard from people representing players? What has the energy and buzz been like for players wanting to come and play for you?
I've gotten over 200 videos, 200 calls of kids wanting to come play. Some with NIL, some that just want to come prove themselves. Some that just want to, get a chance to play basketball and come in there. I'm going to let them play. I know what it's like to go out there on the court and, make some mistakes sometimes. I've seen, like, even happen with my son a few times when he played college that, you make one mistake and these coaches drag you out and now your confidence goes down the drain. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let these kids play basketball, play hard, play for each other. Let them learn how to be accountable for themselves. A lot of kids today aren't held accountable. I'm going to hold these kids accountable, turn them into great young men off the court, great students, help them get their degree, and we'll go from there.
We're talking to Mike Bibby. He's the new head coach of Sacramento State. So, Mike, how long do you think it would take, given the way the game has changed so dramatically? You have the portal, you have NIL, you're already getting a lot of interest. How long do you think it would take to turn that program around?
I'm hoping and counting on this year, Jim. I think the guys that we get in and the guys that are showing interest, that we could build a team that will come out and compete in the Big Sky and be able to, do a lot better than what we've done in the past. Like I said, change the culture around here, get different things going, get a winning mindset and get things going that way.
So, Mike, what is a Mike Bibby coach team? What's it going to look like? In other words, what kind of players are you looking for, and what kind of a style are you looking to play?
I want good. First of all, I want great kids. I want great kids, great human beings that come in here, nice people. But when you get in between those lines, I want you to be a dog out there on the court. Athletic kids that can shove on everybody you look at. You want to build a good team where you have different points to attack people with, and we're going to be a running gun style team to where we get up and down the court, put pressure on defensively, make you play our style, and just get up and down. And I mean, it's not going to be like today's basketball. You just get up 100 threes a game. It's going to be basketball to where it's like play basketball, make reads, play that way.
We're talking to Mike Bibby. So, Mike, I brought this up with a couple of other coaches that got new gigs like you did. Jay Lucas, for instance, when I asked him about the Miami job, and he was on record as saying it, he said, I just assumed that when I got there, I would have to find 13 new players. Is that how you're approaching it?
I think so. Like I said, that's just how basketball is. A lot of guys, you don't get recruited by the coach and they feel like they have to go. I've seen a few of these games that these guys have played. And, as of now, our coaching staff are looking for as many kids that we can get and to choose from and go from there.
All right, so Mike, as I mentioned, you were the second pick overall. You had an incredible college career. You won a Natty. You were first-team All-American. You played 14 years in the NBA, so you've had a great, great basketball life. Do you think that you could have like a Deion Sanders type of effect at Sacramento State, the way he has at Colorado? Now, that's a different dude altogether, but you're a different dude in your own right.
I think we could make that program into that stretch. When he was at Jackson State, I think we could kind of mold it the same way. You got professional former basketball player coming in, especially I had my best years in Sacramento. So I think once we come there and the kids that we get and once we start to win, the culture is going to be different. There'll be people, we're going to be able to get NIL money, I think, and be able to make this program a big program because people in Sacramento want to see winners, and I think they'll help with that.
We're talking to Mike Bibby. So, Mike, what about a staff? We talked about players. What are you looking for in a staff? How's that coming so far, and what kind of guys do you want to work alongside with?
I got most of my staff already that I've worked with in the past. You got a guy from the NBA. I'm still looking for one more guy that has a lot of years in NCAA, and I mean I narrowed it down a little bit. I don't want to give any names right now, but I narrowed it down a little bit to try to help me through that process since they've been there for so long, and try to keep me level.
Yeah, Mike, you were coaching high school ball, and now you get a shot at the college level. When did you first get that thought in your head? I think I want to coach. I mean, did you get that thought when you were still playing? Did you get that thought when you stopped playing? When did you first start thinking about being a coach?
When you're playing, you never think it's going to end, Jim. And then you just figure, I'm just going to play. I'm going to play till I can't no more. And then how it started for me, I coached my son since he was 9 years old. He's 27 now. I coached him through, the AAU programs till he got to high school. And when I wanted to coach high school, I went to one of their practices. Just like, let me check it out and see how their practice is going. I'm not a helicopter dad. I let them, if he moves to that next level, I let him move to the next level. And I just came and I didn't like what I was seeing. I wanted him to be able to learn and play basketball from somebody else other than me. And at the rate he was going at the high school he was at, I didn't like what was going on. So I talked to the athletic director. I just said, hey, I probably won't be bringing my son back here next year. And he said, well, we might be making changes in the coach. Would you want to coach? And, I fell in love with it then. And I fell in love with it when he was younger, but I really knew that I wanted to coach after high school. After I got to, teach the kids, kind of, get them to be good young men and get them to the next level. And I see, I really care about these kids. A lot of these coaches get there and they just, they get a kid for a year, we're going to get rid of them. We're not going to have them long anyway. I don't think like that. I want these kids to have a father figure when they come to coach. They come to me about anything, whether it's they're in trouble or anything. I want them to be comfortable with me and be able to, be a father figure for them.
We're talking to Mike Bibby for a few more moments. See, what you said is so interesting. I was talking to Kelvin Sampson about this, Mike, not long ago, and he said, the way things are with the portal, how can you have a culture if you're starting over every single year? That's an older team. That's a team with experience, but you see where teams are having a lot of success turning it over year after year after year. How do you approach it? I mean, how can you have a culture if you start from scratch every single year?
You treat the kids good. I mean, I think you got to set up a process to hold them accountable and not let them hear stuff from the outside. And my thing is, I know the money's going to be there and you're going to take the money. You might take the money for a fast lick or whatever, however you take it. But I'm trying to have a program to where these kids feel comfortable. They feel great. They can still get looked at, even though it's a mid-level, and still play that way. Show them love to where, hey, this is going to be the best spot for you. We care about you, and we'll take care of you.
Sacramento State has brand new head coach, Mike Bibby. Mike, one last thought. You mentioned that when you play, you think it's going to last forever. And by the way, it almost did. I mean, you played 14 years. What I am curious about, though, what went first in the very end, because so few guys go out on their own terms, what went first? Your ability to do those things and dominate, or maybe your will to prepare and grind?
That was it, my will to prepare and grind, because I knew after I got done in Miami, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I just don't have that drive anymore. And I was the type of guy that I worked my butt off in the summer and then never stopped. And Coach Woodson, one of my favorite coaches, he was like, hey, just come play one more year. And I was like, Woody, I really don't want to. I'm done. He's like, just come play one more year. So that's why when I was in New York, I was kind of taking it slow. And I told him, hey, if you need me, you need me. Don't feel like you have to play me. And I was just there, I was trying to be the best bench player I could be. And, my ego wasn't like that to where, I should be out there playing. It was never like that. I knew I was done. And that's when the first, Jim, is that my will to get ready to prepare myself.
I appreciate that, Mike. Listen, you and I should have done this a long time before this, man, but better late than never. You got yourself a program. Congrats on that. And best know, Mike, this will not be the last time you and I chop it up. Really good to see you, man. Great to have you on the show.
You.
Good luck, and I'll touch base with you soon.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you for having me.
Be good, Mike. Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby used to always come on. Team Dime, yo. Mike, Team Dime. Used to love those days. Sacramento will always be so important to me because they were always an incredible jungle market. And, man, when the Kings had it going, there was nothing like it. It was amazing.
That was Jim Rome with Mike Bibby earlier this week, the new head coach of the Sacramento State Hornets, former player for the Sacramento Kings. Talk about those years. He played his first 3 years in Vancouver, age 20, 21, and 22 years, and then went to Sacramento and was there from 23 years old to 29, so played in some 7 seasons with the Sacramento Kings. The prime years of his life spent in that town as a basketball player. So,
do you remember the trade?
The trade for him?
Yeah.
Or with him? No, I do not. No.
Well, it was a big deal because, Peja and Chris Webber were doing their thing, but they were doing it with white chocolate. And he was super popular. And he was
Jason Williams.
Yeah, Jason Williams, one of the more flashier point guards of that era, but a little bit mistake prone down the stretch of games. And so they basically traded out Jason Williams for Mike Bibby, and the rest is history because they just got better and better and more consistent. And that's when those classic series with the Lakers. Some people think the Kings should have maybe beaten the Lakers in 1 or 2 of those series. But, yeah, great era of basketball in Sacramento, without a doubt.
Played all the way through the 2011-12 season, that last season he was talking about there, with the New York Knicks. Made over $107 million playing in the NBA.
And then he retired and he got jacked.
Exactly.
He must have put on like 50 pounds of muscle after he retired.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was like watching him coach high school basketball. I was like, man, that dude looks like he could go out there and fight some people right now. Good luck to Mike Bibby, though, up there with Sacramento State. If they could ever get that, again, it's a great town. If they could get those programs going up there at Sacramento State with football and basketball, they're in the Big Sky Conference. That could be a very interesting location to watch in the future. I think they're of all those teams in the Big Sky, that's the same conference that Northern Arizona is in. I think they're the biggest city of all of those towns. So certainly
the only one with a Major League Baseball team, right?
There you go. I was watching a little bit of that last night. The Cubs and the A's playing in the AAA facility there in Sacramento. DK on the Sports Tip, cricket getting you home. One more segment to go. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are clearing Fort Lowell near 1st Avenue, La Cañada and Lambert Lane. Keno Parkway north of Ajo at Keno and Tucson Marketplace Boulevard, some slowing mostly southbound. Camp Lowell and Swan, and also River Road east of Campbell, River Road near Hacienda del Sol with westbound slowing on River approaching Campbell. 43 the overnight low, 64 mostly cloudy tomorrow, and 62 breezy now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
We bring you all the news and stories of your Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Your home for U of A athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other, sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no Angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last,
No.
Do we have to sing?
yes, all summer long
With an Alaska Bunny.
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska Vacation, it will always blow strong.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Come on in to Total Wine & More. Prices much lower than a grocery store. Spirits, wine, beer for a whole lot less. Walking down the aisles makes you stop and say, yes! From mixing cocktails to a friendly get-together, Total Wine has everything you need, and more. With the lowest prices and best selection for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at Walmart.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
This is Andy Gresh with the Sports Minute, sponsored by BetMGM, the sportsbook board in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. Alex Ovechkin is only a couple of goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky, and it feels like, unfortunately, no one is paying attention. Ovi doesn't pass Gretzky as an all-time great, but he puts himself right up there with the greatest scorers of the game. Hopefully, people will start to pay attention. I'm Andy Gresh.
It's March matchup season at BetMGM. Ready to shoot your shot? Lock in your picks for this year's tournament with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Being on the sidelines is one thing. This March, get into the game with exciting state-of-the-art live tracking technology, exclusive sportsbook selections, and so much more. Check out BetMGM Originals for dozens of markets you won't find anywhere else. Take a shot at our exciting free-to-play games for your chance at scoring odds boost tokens, bonus bets, and many other prizes. Plus, new players can score up to $1,500 in bonus bets if their first bet loses. From the big dogs to the underdogs, March matchups at BetMGM is a player's best friend. Sign up to catch the excitement and experience college hoops like never before with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. Arizona only. First bet offer for new customers only. All other promotions for existing customers. Subject to eligibility requirements and rewards may vary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
What's your problem, Kazansky? You're everyone's problem. That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right. I am dangerous.
I'm your huckleberry.
Val Kilmer, gone at the age of 65 due to complications from cancer. Head on over to our Twitter account right now, Wildcats Radio or Wildcats 1290, at Wildcats 1290. What is the movie you most remember? Val Kilmer. Right now, it is still a 2-horse race. Tombstone, it was 50-50 last time we checked. But now it is 59-41 in favor of Tombstone over Top Gun, which is where you heard the line, "I'm your Huckleberry." That's right, Ice Man. Some great memories there. Great memories of Val Kilmer, the actor who unfortunately left us yesterday at the age of 65. So get on over to Twitter. Vote in our poll right now. We'll have that up for about another 22 hours, so plenty of time to go over there and do that. We'll have the results for you coming up tomorrow. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we'll have much more chatter about what's happening with the transfer portal. If you weren't with us at the top of the show, that's our number one topic today. Jada Williams has announced that she will be an Iowa State Cyclone, joining Audie Crooks, first team all Big 12 selection this past season. So Audie's got a point guard now. They were a team that I think they lost in the second round, maybe the first round this year, but got to the Sweet 16 last year and did the Iowa State Cyclones. So looking to maybe get back to that level that they had 2 years ago, and they'll build around Jada Williams and Audie Crooks. But should there be a penalty for transferring? And what should that penalty be? What would you make the penalty for transferring? Because there's got to be something. You can't just have these student athletes transferring every single year. There's got to be a penalty. What do you think that should be?
Now, we don't have the schedule for next year, obviously, as you mentioned earlier. That comes way late. But what we do know is that Arizona women only played the Cyclones once last year, and it was here in Tucson. So the chances of Jada coming back to McHale next year in a Cyclone jersey is slim to none.
Probably slim, but you never know. I mean, they're doing different things with the scheduling next year, just kind of based off what they did this year. Are they doing 18
for the women's side as well?
I have not heard that.
Yeah.
I have not heard that, but I would imagine they're going to mirror what the men do.
Sure.
And the men are going to 18 games for sure. 7 Wildcats on the women's side. You were mentioning the numbers on the men's side. I got the numbers on the women's side. Over 1,100 players are in the women's basketball transfer portal right now. 7 of those out of the Arizona program. We did not. I don't think we've mentioned Lauren Swan, which is interesting because I talked about it Monday when I was at McHale Center, and I saw Lauren Swan and Paulina Paris coming out of practice from the Richard Jefferson building. You know, it's not full on practice, skill work at this point now, once that the season is over. But they were walking into McHale, and literally a few hours later, Lauren Swan was in the portal. I mean, that's how quickly it goes. You go from doing your skill work on a Monday afternoon to being in the portal and on your way out the door Monday night. So now Lauren Swan, who averaged 8 points a ball game, is in the portal. Skylar Jones, who averaged 11 points last year for the Wildcats. Brea Cunningham, who averaged 11 points. And Jada Williams, who averaged 13 points.
Real quick, portal. DK, since we got like 2 minutes left, we have to mention a couple of huge anniversaries.
Oh, yeah.
So today's the 40th anniversary, yesterday and today, because of the time change and the way that games go. It's generally over 2 days. 40th anniversary, DK, of one of the most famous finals of all time, and that was Villanova-Georgetown, Raleigh Massimino. Now, the most famous thing about that game is that was Patrick Ewing, and they were a 9-point favorite, the largest favorite to ever lose in the title game. But that's not the important milestone. Do you know what that game's famous for?
What's that?
The last game without a shot clock, because they still ran 4 corners. So Dean Smith at North Carolina ran 4 corners. Villanova beat Georgetown that day by running 2 full minutes off the clock by passing the ball back and forth. 85-86, DK, was the first year that the shot clock was implemented. So huge momentum changing. And, of course, who could forget this, which happened in 1990?
For UNLV at forward, a 6'8 junior from Pasadena, California, number 32, Stacy Augman. For Duke at forward, a 6'11 sophomore from Angola, New York, number 32, Christian Laettner. For UNLV at forward, a 6'7 junior from Dallas, Texas, number 4, Larry Johnson. For Duke at guard, a 6-foot freshman from Jersey City, New Jersey, number 11, Bobby Hurley. For UNLV at guard, a 6'2 junior from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 50, Greg Anthony.
Hurley able to swing in one of Abdelnaby, and Johnson read it. Now into the hands of Hunt. 2-on-1.
Great job by Hunt, and he also is a finisher with a dunk.
Steal by Augman. Henderson's back.
He's special.
Another turnover. Augman forces the pace. Finds Hunt on the break. Beautiful.
Timeout, Duke.
Hurley squeezes through.
What a rebound.
Big man. Larry Johnson off with the rebound. 72-47. Hunt hits a three, and folks, this one's all Vegas.
You know, Brent, this will be the first team from the Pacific time zone that has won a final championship since UCLA way back in 1975. You've covered a million sporting events. Have you ever seen one where a team at this level has dominated in every facet of the game?
Record-setting night, 103-73, UNLV.
So, for those who are around, one of the most dominant two-year stretches, that year and the next year where they went undefeated. The end of that story, of course, is Duke beat them next year when they were undefeated. But the momentous part of this story, DK, is to this day, still the largest margin of victory in NCAA title game history. A 30-point win, 103-73. For the Running Rebels for their first title over Duke.
That was something to watch.
Freshman Bobby Hurley.
That night, yeah. But again, like you said, the story was the next year, Duke got the upper hand in a game that I think it was the semifinals.
It was. It was in the Final Four. They beat the Rebels, who at that point had not lost that whole year, and they were winning by an average of 25 points. That was maybe the most dominant basketball team I've ever seen.
I remember both those nights vividly. Watching those games out in Los Angeles. As a student at the University of Southern California. Great stuff there. Memory lane, of course, 28 years ago, was it yesterday or the day before? Arizona won their national championship over the Kentucky Wildcats. Saw a bunch of posts about that in recent days as well. Great time of year for sure. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be back with you 3 o'clock. More U of A baseballs. We'll get you set for the Wildcats and the Sun Devils and a whole lot more. We'll keep you up to date on everything happening in the transfer portal. For cricket, for J-Dub, for Dragon Ball, who was off today, my name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions reported Ajo and Palo Verde and Ajo Way. It's a hit and run. Speedway near Craycroft on Speedway to the east of Craycroft. Also First Avenue to the north of Orange Grove, La Cañada and Lambert Lane. Still a little bit of slowdowns for Keno Parkway southbound approaching Tucson Marketplace Boulevard north of Ajo, and also on southbound Swan at Camp Lowell. 43 the low, 64 mostly cloudy tomorrow, and 61 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places to take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen Report, learn more at discover.com/credit card.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
So we bid farewell to Goldie the goldfish as she journeys to that big pond in the sky. Amen.
He's still there, Dad.
What?
Goldie's still there. She didn't flip.
Because Dad didn't use Picture Rock's cooling, heating, and plumbing, this little pet funeral is going to take a long time.
All right. We therefore commend our Goldie once again to the appropriate place.
Still there, Dad.
Picture Rock's cooling, heating, and plumbing, making sure all your plumbing is working the way it's supposed to.
And so, Goldie, we bid thee farewell.
Still there!
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Peter. He loves his motorcycle.
What he doesn't love is wind. Which is ironic, because wind is a big part of the whole wind-in-your-face motorcycle cliche. But nobody ever tells you how relentless a strong crosswind is, or the cliche wouldn't exist. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get a quote to see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Spring Sale and get 30% off paints and stains March 28th through April 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
The Pima County Fair and Wildcats Radio 1290 present Wristband Day Easter Sunday, April 20th. For just $30, you can enjoy unlimited rides until 6 p.m. You can also get admission into the fair for free until noon with 3 cans of food. Plus, enjoy concerts, a lowrider car show, Easter Bunny photo op, goodie bags for the first 500 kids under 10, baby shark roaming the grounds, and much more. Get all the details about the Easter Sunday at the Pima County Fair at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Once upon a time, our family had trouble with pests around our home. Did you know that stinging insects send tons of people to the hospital? And teeny ticks and mosquitoes can be all around the yard. Their bites can make people and their pets sick. Mice, rats, and roaches need food and water just like us. You do not want them to visit. They can spread disease and make it hard to breathe. I'm sure glad this story has a happy ending.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. What does it take to work for Arizona Athletics?
Whenever we hire anyone, we talk about high, low, high. High character, low ego, high outcome and energy.
We are your home for U of A sports. Wildcats Radio, 1290.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
It is the JR Sport Brief Show here with you coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. I am coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much to everybody tuned in and locked in all over North America. The show gets started every weekday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. You can always listen on the free Odyssey app, your local Infinity Sports Network affiliate. You got Sirius XM. It's simple. It's channel 375. If you got a smart speaker, ask the speaker to play the Infinity Sports Network.